Alright, so last time you guys had started off your adventure after awaiting you all to gather within the village of Maeyta. You met with the village chief after having the situation described to you, as the local fauna have been undergoing a sort of plague that has been spreading around them. Though thankfully it doesn't seem to be spreading around the populace, or at least not through contact, as when they have eaten upon this meat, they have undergone a very serious stomach bug, and it threatens to push them out of their home, as they are going to be soon unable to feed themselves if the food supplies keep dwindling so. As such, you've been tasked to find out why this is occurring within the forest, as it has been going on for more than 2 months at this point, and if it was just a single family of creatures, it would have been acceptable, but as it's still going on now, it's a rather pressing matter. You had a few points of call to go investigate, and you headed off to the closest one, which is the rushed forest to the north of Maeyta. Whilst there, you met another mandragora by the name of Spratler, who was taking a shower in a makeshift shower. They handed off to you a satchel that had contained some items of what seemed to be a previous adventuring band, or it could have been a tradesman, showing that there has been more deaths in the forest. They were to gather this as they were moving around and not exactly able to hide, but able to get into a place that the monsters couldn't get to them. And following the trails that Spratler described to you, you went towards the northwestern edge of Rush Forest, and you were able to find some signs of the enraged animals as you were attacked by a mutated deer. This seemed to be either advanced form or a completely separate disease going around the forest, as the first you saw was a lot of maggot worms in a deer corpse back at Maeyta, where the worms came out of the body and attacked you, whereas this one seemed to have morphed the creature itself, who attacked you with rather ferocious antlers and legs. As it died, similar to the maggots, its body melted away, leaving not much in the way of clues. They were able to spot that there was the letters and numbers D17 in its ear. The only thing really that was left behind by the mutated deer was some of its bones, as well as its antlers, even though the antlers had kind of become very malformed and larger. Taking it as a trophy of sorts, you pocketed it for selling it on later. You also found some more clues in the shape of 3 fingernail shards of glass, as well as 2 obsidian glass arrowheads. And from there, you saw that there was some footprints leading towards the west and wagon marks heading towards the north. Deciding to head west with the footprints, you settled down for the night, and Clark was able to spot during his going into the morning watch that there was a shuffling part of the shrubbery, though on close inspection it looked to be a onion-style mandragora. And speaking with such, you found them to be called Tulipe, and that their family or friends had been taken out from the ground and taken north. Thankfully, Tulipe was left behind. Was it Tulipe? Can't remember how I pronounced their name there. And Clark vowed to go find their friends and family, though Tulipe had to stay behind as they needed to stay basically sprouted in the ground. Telling the party, you headed off northwards, and you found a crossroads at one point that led towards the east, though your first wagon marks were heading towards the north, and so you continued on northwards and finding the wagon marks that led into this current campsite, though you know there's only one of 2 that you had found earlier. Wagon marks, not campsites. And upon approaching this place, you did announce yourself, asking for the people inside to show themselves, and show themselves they did, as shambling undead came out from the tents. 5 skeletons and 2 zombies, though the difference is really more in the kind of flesh they had. They were all undead. However, whilst you were fighting them, as the zombies were being attacked and killed, they did let out some sort of death murmurs that could be interpreted as words as they were asking for the pain to stop, as well as just simply could have been their last words, or they could have had some faculties left. However, as they died, similar to the deers previously, any form of flesh seems to bubble and melt away, leaving only really nails and bones. And thankfully, these did not sprout any more maggots through them. And when the session off, just as you has defeated said undead, and you started to check the tents for further adversaries. And we shall continue from there. Clark, as you move over towards the tents, looking into the southern one, you can see that there are 2 bedrolls with what seems to be makeshift pillows. They have definitely seen quite a fair bit of use, as some of them have tear markings and are discoloured in some places. And you're unsure if that is because these people have been camping here for a while, or that they are travelling adventurers and this isn't exactly their first trail out. Aside from that, there is a small cauldron that has been spilled onto the side of the campfire. That isn't currently lit, that's just what the background looks like. And you can see that there is some vegetables strewn across the floor.
Seems like they were just getting ready to cook up some food. Though, if it were these creatures planning to cook up some food, I don't think they could really digest it.
I don't think these were... Well, these may be the... I don't know what these folk were, but... Maybe they didn't exactly look like this before. Can Crom have a look at the pot and see how old it is? Like is it spoiled or is it relatively fresh?
You can roll either Knowledge Nature or Heal.
Nature seems best.
Looking over the cauldron or pot, I guess the pot is really just a small cauldron. As you look over the boiled vegetables, you can definitely see that they were cooked to a certain extent, but it was knocked over at some point. And you will also recognize that whilst there are some mundane vegetables that had been stewed, you also recognize that several of these used to be mandragora.
He'll kind of step away from it. Damn. They've been eating twiglets.
Huh?
You might want to stay over there.
You mean the manticore they took with them? Oh no.
To me, you got some words for these folk? They don't deserve this.
Well, I can say something over them.
I know white mages aren't clerics, but but you're the best we have.
I don't really know what to say. I'll just kind of mumble some holy sounding words over them.
Roll the bluff.
I'll just get out my spade and start digging a little hole. But you guys looking through this place if you want.
You'll also
Yeah.
notice. You will also notice that that big piece of paper is a actual game thing you can go pick up. It's not as big as that though.
I'll pick it up then.
Picking up the parchments, it looks to be torn from a larger diary, and the scribbles look to be a lot larger than what you would normally find. It's possible they were writing to maybe an elderly person, but the contents kind of go against that. As you can read it as it is in common. It reads, Entry 21. We spent 3 weeks in this forest, still nothing. The rumors of hidden caches seem to have been exaggerated. We've only found the one. We can't identify what the rings are, so they must be good. Either that, or our eyesight has gotten worse after eating that bad meat the other day. We've all been complaining about water in our eyes and a furriness to our teeth, as if we hadn't brushed in weeks. Tomorrow, we're going to head further east. Our maps note silver mine. Hopefully, our eyes are still good to spot enough of a vein to take some back.
So, potentially eating the meat would have caused this to happen to them?
Are there any tracks leading away from the site, as in, towards the east, in the last day or so, or is it just us?
You can certainly roll survival.
Join me, survival friends.
I'll help with that. I'll look through as well.
Clark is too busy reading still. As you search around the camp, you definitely see several tracks of humanoids going to the northwest and south. However, they are all rather old. There are some recent ones, but they don't go too far, as if they're just going into the forest to relieve themselves. And nothing recent shows towards the east.
Looks like you're right. Maybe that tainted meat got to them before they got to set off.
But if it's the same thing, it's not what's happening in Maeyta, though. They're just getting a stomach bug. This is worse.
Wish I had more intelligence as a character.
Should we look for the rings that they were talking about?
I mean, damn, can't hurt.
I'll continue scrummaging through the tent to the northwest.
Did Chrome gather, how old the stew remains were?
Yeah, they were like...
The stew remains are they're within a week old.
Okay.
But yeah, in the meantime, I'm just going to start digging this hole, because I take it these are, stewed Mandragora, basically, or parts of Mandragora.
Yeah, they have been chopped up. It's kind of horrific to say, because they are people.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They are like vegetable people. But you could... I guess with your check earlier, you could easily distinguish what would have been a part of a Mandragora, and not just buried vegetables.
Yeah, I'll take those away and start burying them somewhere a bit further from the campsite, just while people are looking through it, because, they were people at the end of the day.
I'll be looking at finger bones to see if there's any rings on fingers.
Just look over the undead. None of them are wearing rings. Though Clark, as you search through that tent, definitely seems to be a sort of leader tent. I need you to give me a perception. Well, you are lucky that this is not something hidden, though you're very close to just missing anything. Looking amongst the main tent, you are able to find what remains of a partial map. Seemingly it's been torn apart, looking as if it was torn apart by claws. You can look at your current map, and it seems to be leading towards the east. It notes a... No, I don't know why it says east. It notes a part towards the west of you that reveals a lake that connects to the river.
I'll take it out and let the party know. There seems to be some sort of location to the west. A lake that connects to the river.
And along with that map, you find a very small lockbox that can't be really locked, so really it's just a box. Inside, there are 2 rings and 115 gold pieces.
Okay,
Gold.
upon coming back,
Gil.
Clark will just put both the rings on and be like, guys, what do you think of any rings? And then we'll
He
take them off again.
explodes.
Are they magical?
Are you
Clark
using
will
using
hold
detect
them out.
magic?
Yeah, I'll use detect magic.
The rings are indeed magical.
Oh, they got some magic to them.
Clark will place the rings into Mir's hand. Feel free to look.
What do I need? A spellcraft?
It's spellcraft, yeah.
I'm assuming the gold pieces is just like gil.
It's gil. I didn't mean to say gold.
Okay.
Demir, as you look over the rings, they are indeed a very hard thing to identify, and you don't know what they are.
Minta, do you want to take a look at these? I can't figure out what they are.
I'm not really good with identifying magic.
Me either.
I have no ranks in spellcraft.
Should be fine. I'm
Alright.
assuming Crom's finished the hole by now.
Are you making a hole just for the Mandragora or for the skeletons as well?
Just for the Mandragora for now.
Okay, yeah. You don't. Are you gonna make separate ones, or are you gonna make a communal grave?
No, separate ones.
I mean, they're Mandragoras. With every search going on, yeah, you'd have it done.
I'll fill them back in a minute. I'm just gonna pop them in for now. Well, I'm sure we can look over them tomorrow or maybe the day after. We've had quite the day, and Crom will just realise how kind of battered he is, as well as like Clark, I assume, doesn't look exactly fresh either.
Not exactly.
Let's check this turnover. Maybe see if that loot supposed to be there.
I'll say yeah.
Yeah, we'll just check over the last 10, and maybe we should make camp ourselves. We got a few decisions to make if we go west or east over to that mine. This is the second time we've heard about it. But something gives me the impression that we should be prepared if we go into that mine.
Clark stretches and she's like, I could do the rest. She looks in the final tent.
Look into the final tent, and you can see quite the well-looked-after sword inside, and you're unsure why the undead left it there. It could possibly be that they had no memory of using said sword.
Clark will pull out the sword. Is it heavy? Like heavier than her sword, or?
I think it'd be the same way as yours, because I think it's the same weapon. It is a masterwork longsword.
Nice.
Didn't even have to look at it properly. It just knew what it was.
Very nice.
Is anyone handy with long swords, or is it just me?
I mean, hell, I can use them, but I got finesse here.
Finesse looks like she takes us from chippings. Looks a bit smaller than what it was earlier.
Yeah, she still packs a punch when she needs to.
Does anybody mind if I take this? It's a bit of an upgrade from my current sword.
Go right ahead.
And she'll
Doesn't look like anyone's gonna miss it.
swap it over from her current sword.
Kind of expected Mentha to be like, no, I want that. I want to
Give
stab.
it.
I crave violence.
Ooh, shiny.
They just
It's
want to be
oddly
dyed red.
purple.
Yeah, if you guys are just checking them out, I'll probably just start pulling the undead together. Well, I assume they're just bones. They're not like bodies at this point, are they?
They are mostly just bones with a bit of sinew.
I'll
But
just put them on the campfire and light them.
What is a masterwork weapon? Does it just like +1 to the attack, or is it +1
+1
to
to
damage
hit.
as well?
Yeah, it's just +1 to the attack. If you click the MWK tick box,
It's because I'm doing it into macro.
Oh yeah, it's just +1 to attack.
Yeah. And it increases the value by, is it 100 normally for weapons?
300 for weapons.
300 for weapons, sorry, it's 100 for armor, isn't it?
It's 150 for armor.
I don't know why I'm thinking 100 then.
Come on, Jagby, let's go. Get it together.
My god. I'm sunstroked, leave me alone.
Just gonna have to run a GM 101 with you.
It's the accent. It's invading you.
It is. I'm gaining Crom's intelligence and it's not good. But yeah, he'll just put all the bones on the fire and light it unless anyone else has any qualms with that.
Nope.
Alright. Well, we should probably get going. I don't know how many of these things are supposed to be here, but I certainly don't want to see any more of them. Nothing else we haven't checked, is there, here?
The
We got that.
remains of the fire? I don't know.
The remains of the fire is just like ash and burnt wood.
And I take it that backpack there is just part of the...
That's just part of the
Yeah.
image.
So I
Let's get
guess
out
we're
of
going to
here,
make
then.
our own camp.
Yeah, maybe not too close to this one, though.
Sure you don't want to take a tent with you?
I've got one. And also, I imagine these things don't smell too great.
I've got one as well.
We should be
Let's
fine.
head on out then.
Get back to the cart, yeah. You holding up alright there, Maeyta? Sorry you had to see that. Can't believe folk would eat your can.
Why would they do that? They have perfectly fine vegetables.
That's what I thought.
Clark will do like an animal whistle to like call for Mr. Gibbs.
I'm thinking maybe they thought they could get something from you, but I don't know why. Only the gods know.
And as you say, only the gods know. Demir, you can roll either intelligence or wisdom.
Oh,
That's a good wisdom roll.
Thinking to the journal entry, they did mention several times that they had trouble with their eyes. And they weren't able to see very well.
I thought they were... Okay, fair enough.
Maybe they thought they'd get some better eyesight, like with what you get from carrots. But obviously they're stupid and they're trying to eat people.
Hey, now you mention it, maybe they just couldn't tell. But, I mean, magic are a talk, right? Their ears still worked. Maybe this thing stops the senses. I mean, I had it, but I just felt ill. I mean, do these symptoms seem like the symptoms that people who've had this before had?
No, looking at the entry and definitely seeing the undead, this seems to be something different from what the village of
Yeah.
Maeyta is being suffering with.
Though
Come on.
remember, they might be having different iterations. If you
What's
know
an
what I mean.
iteration?
It's like just a longer exposure to the thing that meat.
Well, they might have different experiments going on, one after the other.
I'm just holding his head like all these words with more than 5 syllables. What?
I mean, iteration's only 4 syllables.
Hey, he's got intelligence of 7. It's 5. It's probably
It's
5 to
miscounting
him.
as well.
Yeah. Either way, we best get on with this. Don't want more folk falling into this kind of problem.
Keep moving
Mr.
to the
Gibbs
map
has a
layer.
label on him. The bestest boy.
I put that on last session. I wouldn't when you
Yeah,
could
he
see
was
it.
there last session.
I remember that.
But yes, there is now that lake that is towards the west, though it seems like they may have made the map at some point because it's more like a southwest.
What do you think? We go down to the lake and then loop back towards the mounds? Give us time to look into these rings.
Sounds like a plan. And then we can also rest on the way.
Alright.
And just to let you know, because you would have known, when you put on the rings, you didn't feel any different, and you were able to take them off.
Good. I'm just gonna stash them into the saddle pack on Mr. Gibbs for the moment until we can know what they actually do.
With spellcraft, you can find out the spell school, but I don't know if that's really going to help you any.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, but then we got distracted with RP and stuff.
For the school, it is Knowledge Arcana? Yeah, Knowledge Arcana.
That's not gonna be a good one for me. Not trained.
Well, if it's not trained, you can't do it.
Okay.
So, nobody knows. You know it has a magical aura, and there's one.
Does Maeyta have knowledge arcana?
Nope.
Oh boy.
We are
It's not
not
even
a
a
knowledge
black
team.
skill.
We didn't make no black mages.
Alright, you did rest before coming here, so you do have some travel time left. Which direction do you want to be heading? There was, when you were here, there was a crossroads. You took the northern path to follow one set of wagoned tracks, and also went off to the east as well.
Yeah, which is towards the mine. I take it we want to go back towards the crossroads and then the other way, or is there a way to go to the lake from here?
You can go straight from where you are now. You
We'll
just
do
be
that.
going through the forest. You'll find enough paths to move the wagon around.
Hey, thinking about it. Ain't the old man's missus over at the lake, or is that close to Maeyta?
I think she stays in the river.
Is it a lake or river that she stays in? Oh, it's the river surrounding Maeyta, yeah, so probably not. Alright, I'm just hoping we don't have another unfortunate encounter. I seem to have a habit of, well, being knocked unconscious.
Alright, so are you setting off to the lake and not going to let... I guess you can go to the lake and then go towards Two Lipe if you let them know friends and family are dead.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping we don't have to tell them that, but we probably will, won't we?
Just ignore them, just never go back.
Yeah, we should probably. We'll go to the lake and then. Oh no, should we go and speak to up here first and then go to the lake? Because I assume it's not that far between them. Or should we go to them on the way to the silver mines? Because that's probably the fastest way, isn't it?
That is probably the fastest way.
We'll do that then.
So what are you doing, sorry?
Lake first.
Alrighty. Heading towards the lake. It gets to be evening as the sun starts to set down. Do you wish to go into the lake at night time, or do you wish to rest beforehand?
Okay, so apart from health, what's everyone's actual resources looking like?
My MP is down to 3, I believe.
You're at 2, men
Oh,
present.
I mean, we can go in if you want.
And I don't have my staff yet, my power staff.
Okay. I have any way of healing myself, unfortunately.
I've got a potion.
Clark, have you got a potion left?
I've got a potion.
Do we want to use that, or do we want to just camp out? I
I
kind of feel
have
like
2 potions.
Oh, okay. I think if we use one each, then I say we go in. Like I know Demir's a little bit lower on MP, but I assume this is relatively time sensitive. Like, the longer these things stay out there, the more damage they do.
Probably. This is going to be a resource management game.
Yeah. And if we camp, like if we go here and then go to Tulipe, we can camp with Tulipe, assuming we have the time, or at the lake, and then go to the mines like fresh. What do you guys think?
That's fine. I mean, I've got my axe, even though I'm not great with it.
Was that a great Alex joke?
No, what it can be.
Alright, if someone's alright to lend me a potion, that would be much appreciated.
I'll give you a potion.
I say lend, I can't really give it back, but, I appreciate the sentiment.
I'll lend you a potion.
Give it back.
It's a long-term loan.
Hey, you live in my garden sometimes, alright, leave me alone.
Yeah. You pay me back by being my friend.
Nice! Clark, are you good, or are you going to take one as well?
I will take one just in case.
Okay, so we're down to one between us then, yeah?
I've got one, and I think Menta still has one.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, 'cause I don't have any. Did Clark have any?
Clark have any what?
Potions, I mean. Like, 'cause I didn't have any, so I
I
borrowed
had
one.
Yeah, I had one potion on me.
You already had one, so yeah, okay, that's fine.
And then
So
I've
you two still have one.
I've still got one healing spring.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll hold on to those for now. So we've got 2 potions between us and a healing spring, yeah?
And 2 MP on a healer, so.
Yeah, exactly.
We
So
used the healing spring on the deer fight.
yeah, I thought we used the healing spring there, because mine's been used. Because it was 6 health in total, because we were pretty messed up after that one.
I think we might have used it when Chester was PRB.
Maybe. Did we type it in? No. I'm pretty sure we did, though. Can't see it in the chat. Yeah, we've got antidotes and whatnot. Okay. Let us go then. Clark's used theirs.
As you head into the evening, I need everyone to give me a D100 roll, please.
We're in sync.
Yeah.
Except for Clark. It's a non-commissioned portrait.
This is the total number of werewolves that attack us in the night.
Skelly boys.
Many skellies.
Okay, Lark, are you religious, and what deity do you pray to?
Yes, and Ifrit. Did you hear me?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
I need you to roll me D20, please.
Oh joy.
As you travel towards the lake, the stars start to sparkle in the night sky, and as you look towards the stars, Clark, you feel an inspiration from the deity you pray to. A constellation glows in the night sky as you can almost see the lines connect them, and you feel inspired. As for during this night, you gain a +1 to your deflection AC.
Nice.
Very
what
good.
do I put it down as?
You can put it as a buff.
What should I name it? Star buff.
Divine
Sure.
inspiration.
Reaching the lake, it indeed becomes a darker time. However, since the stars are bright and the moon is in full, you get good dim lights across everywhere. Though you can't see up to the mountaintops, obviously that is dark. The path splits off several times, heading to the west, the east, and even more towards the south, with choices of paths. The forest becomes less dense here, though it seems that even though this is a more likely travelled path, it is well kept after, or rather, it is not tarnished by those who pass by. From here, some of you who have some better sight would be able to see that there is a green-scaled Lamia by the lake, who is praying on a set of beads in her hands.
Do we recognize her?
At this distance, not particularly.
Okay. Anyone who can't see them, Crom will point out and say, one of them snake folk down the way. Don't recognize them from here, though. Of course, I can't tell if they're green, can I? Because it's black and white.
It's dim lighting, so yes, you can.
Oh, it's dim light, okay. Just be careful. I'd keep your weapon sheathed, though.
Shall do.
They look like they're praying.
Yeah. Hey, Demir, you know much about, Lamea religion? They pray to one in particular? Apparently, yes.
But I do.
Alright, well, I mean, Lamia can really pray to any gods. There are a few that they would pray to, because Lamia come in all shapes and sizes. You know that the ones that go into the rivers are normally referred to as Naga, but they are separate races. Generally, those pray to the deities that govern water, such as Leviathan. This one is green-scaled, so it could still be a water Lamia, that they just go around the more seaweed and mossy-infested rivers and lakes. It's hard to tell what she'd be praying to, but you do know they can be religious.
Okay. I'm a call out to him unless one of you lot want to. I mean, hell, I'm not exactly the most charismatic man, but... Deafening silence. Alrighty.
It's up to you. I can always approach them if you don't feel very charismatic today.
I'll feel charismatic any day, my friend, but... far away.
Excuse me?
Lamia is a bit startled by your voice as they jump up and put their beads away. Turning over towards you, they wave at you as they start to slither across the grounds.
My apologies
Hello
for interrupting you.
It is quite alright. It's not often I get many visitors around these parts. I am Mary. Might I have your names?
Certainly, Mary. My name's Clark. And I'm sure
Clark,
the rest of the
as
party
you
can...
say your name, your throat becomes raspy as your brain starts to go on fire. And as you speak your name, you no longer remember what your name was.
Does that mean I can still
I
speak or
was
no?
just about to ask if they were Fae.
You know that you've forgotten your name and it has been not exactly stolen from you because you seem to have given it up willingly.
But do I still have the ability to talk?
You can still talk, yes. You just have no recollection of what your name ever was.
Hmm. I don't know. I'm not too sure about that. I'm sorry, Mary.
Cloak, what's wrong?
Sorry? Who?
You. Cloak, you done something to him? And if Clark will take a step forward. Crom, sorry, will take a step forward.
Not anything that they did not deserve.
Deserve?
The Lamia's scales start to strip away as they fall to the floor. Their body starts to wiggle and writhe as they turn around. Their body morphs and shapes as two large wings sprout out from their backs, revealing to have a more fairy-like demeanor. Stupid mortals! Now your die is in my hand. This is what you get for sullying my forest. Take me to your lab or die.
Lab?
Yes, your lab where you're conducting these experiments upon my creatures, my friends.
Crom will just look back at everyone else.
Think you're misunderstanding. We're trying to figure out what's going on ourselves. We haven't done anything.
Yeah, we were setting up by Old Man's show. We've been suffering these last few months.
I cannot accept your words when you carry the stench of the sickness that plagues my kin.
We've been sick too. Hell, if we smell sick, why would you think we made it?
This is not just upon your skin, as upon your hands. You've dealt and muddled with it.
I buried some folk to turn into some weird skeleton people. Is that... Am I a scientist?
You're a scientist and you never knew it. If it is true that you did not create these things, why is there one behind you? She then points towards the sides, as you could see some parts of the nearby shrubbery rustling as a rather large bloody boar appears out of it.
Oh, hell. We didn't bring that. I hope.
The boar shakes its head as blood and saliva starts to splatter across the grass nearby. It starts to ramp up its hoof as if it's about to charge. Well, if it's not yours, you can deal with it. And if you do deal with it, I should say we have a longer conversation than this. The boar roars as it prepares to charge.
I knew it. I knew he was going to change his name before initiative.
That was me.
Oh, you.
Oh, this is not a good day to be a boar.
Spicy, I like it.
Not too sure why the lighting is working the way it is. If I maybe like that. It's inside of the rock? Maybe. The lighting is annoying because I can't set the whole place to dim lighting. If I put a lighting source, it's blocked by these rocks. So I shall move it over here. Alright, and first up is that person. If you want to identify this boar, it is Knowledge Nature.
Oh yeah, get all my good rolls out of the way now.
Alrighty. This is a bloody boar. The boar shows sign of captivity and harsh treatment. Several cuts across its face and body, with an extra pair of tusks jutting from its maw, and increased fang sizes. Blood drips from its own wounds and its mouth from dining on other creatures. You can learn 4 traits.
Would I need to ask for type to clarify if it's an animal or not for favoured enemy?
It is animal, so you can have that for your favorite enemy.
Okay.
You would need to ask for type if it had anything else.
Okay. But yeah, leather sounds good to me.
Alright. Give me a second. Alright. Its weakest save is Will. It has a weakness to Holy. It is immune to Shadow, Mind-affecting effects, Paralysis, Poison, Polymorph, Sleep effects, and Stunning. And one of its special abilities is its Diseased Body. And whenever the Bloody Boar succeeds in a grapple check, its target suffers 1 con damage. This damage is healed at a rate of 1 per hour.
Is that it?
Yep.
Then who will move on up and attack?
You slash out at the boar and are able to hit. However, as you cut into its hide, it seems to be especially thick and you do less damage than normal.
Okay.
Enfa.
We'll 5 a step and take a march at this guy. Or not.
You shoot towards the boar, but instead hit the tree behind him. Grom.
Okay. I don't think you guys will need defending this time, so I'm going to move to here and just give him a whack and hope for the best. I pressed initiative by accident, my bad.
From does the same with his axe, though, just like whoever that is, you do less damage than normal.
Okay. Is that because it's not the butchering axe anymore, or...?
Both. Goes to the boar, and is going to go for Clark. As it tussles out with its large tusks and also goes for a bite as well. Whoever that is, you are pierced into your sides with the tusks for 7 damage. Demir.
Intro, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
He might be doing some area noise, but if you're shooting at the boar, that will miss him and also hit that tree. That tree is having a bad day. It goes back to wherever that is. Yesta?
If I
Yeah,
have
beginning Andrew.
just a general look over this boar, I know it's already bloody, but how hurt is it?
It seems that no matter its wounds, its anger and frustration are seeing it through. Too angry to die.
If that's the case, then I'm gonna limit break. Granting myself the crit, but automatic crit. Can never remember the title of it.
Critical strikes.
Something like that. Yeah, you got Omni and critical.
Yeah,
don't you?
that's it. Critical. So yeah, I'll do that and take a whack at this guy again. Those are some bad rolls.
Oh, that's indeed a bad roll. But you do hit.
And it only lasts this turn, doesn't it? 'Cause we're level 1.
Yeah.
And guess that'll be that.
Slashing
I
into the boar,
will-
you deal a very severe cut into it.
To which I'll then 5 foot back.
Enfa.
Oh boy. Where are my spells useless at this time?
At nighttime?
Sure. Does anybody want AC? Or do I just try to take another mud shot?
I was planning on going up and taking that person's name or place so that they don't come after you.
I mean, I'd be careful, because probably
It hits pretty
make
hard.
you unconscious in one hit.
Potentially. My other option was going to heal that person.
We know his name, don't we? He just
Yeah,
doesn't.
we do.
Yeah,
Sure.
you know
She just doesn't,
Clark's
sorry.
name.
Yeah.
She probably just never respond to it.
It's up to you. I mean, 80's
right.
always good, but
I'm gonna say that Clark stepped away. I'm gonna move over here and give Crom wind armor for a +2 deflection bonus.
thank you.
From?
I'm just checking the bonus of fighting defensively. Like what the...
-4 to attack, +2 to AC, I think.
I'm just wondering if that's going to be worth doing. No, I'll be alright. If Mentha's behind me, that's fine. I will try and give him a good double slap. Whether or not it's going to hit, we'll find out.
As you bring down your great axe onto the bloody boar, you hit almost into the center point of its head, bringing it down with your axe, so it seems to really want to keep on going. And lashing out with your bite, you take a chunk out of its cheek, and you're surprised this thing is still going. There's something else pushing it forward, but you're pretty sure if there's one more piece of it lost, it may go down.
Alrighty. Now can I fight defensively? No.
If only. Spine defensively is a standard action.
Okay, fair enough.
I think you can also do it as a full attack, but doesn't matter. Okay, goes to the boar, who is definitely going to change their mind after what you just did to them.
Enough.
They turn their attention to Crom. Your AC is 17.
Correct. So I'm crit full Howard.
You are impaled with its tusks, and then bitten down with its maw for 18.
Well, I'm pretty fat. Oh my god. Every time.
I'll go to Demir.
Oh boy. Probably gonna have to just heal. Oh boy. Although I apparently closed my sheet, so give me a minute. Alright, so there you go, you got some health points back.
Is that me or Clark? Sorry.
That was you.
Yeah, cool. You're a star.
Alrighty. Goes to Clark.
Who will fife up once again and attack?
Flashing down onto the boar who just brought down your friends, who also got back up again. You're able to finish off what they started as you bring out your lightsaber and slash through. The boar falls to the floor. Just like the previous animals, the boar's body starts to bubble and melt away. And if you wish to try and find any significant marks, you can roll perception beforehand. Alright, Demir, you will miss it. However, Menther and Crom, you pretty much both go to the ear because you know where that's been, where several other marks have been. And you see inside it says B17B. And with the boar melting away, the Fae from behind you flutters up a bit closer. Well, I suppose if you are the creators of such a beast, you would have a better handle on it. And if you were, you would have been fired by now. Very well, I'll take you at your word. She then starts to cast a spell on everyone. Does everyone accept it? You can roll spellcraft beforehand if you want to identify it.
No, we can't. What about trying to see their intentions, whatever that, I forget what that one is.
Sense motive.
That's the one.
Yeah, you can roll that. Hard to get a read on this, Faye.
They seem apologetic, so I guess I'll accept it.
Is everyone accepting this?
Yeah.
I don't really have a choice. I keep just getting slapped into the floor.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. As you all accept the spell, the area is washed in a healing light. As I would tell you the number, but it doesn't really matter. Everyone heals to full health, which is mostly just Clark and Crom.
Ah, it's much better.
Thanks, Maeyta. And the mayor. And thank you, Butterfly Lady.
Could you give our friend her name back?
I suppose I have no use of it. If you're having that much trouble with just a boar, fine. Clark, I relinquish your name.
Clark, who's Oh, that's me. I'm Clark. Hey, did you take my name?
I thought that was
Yes.
a slow one.
It proves to be quite a dangerous thing to give your name to a Fae. Though obviously you did not see from my disguise, so why would you not give it up?
Oh, I think from now on, I'm not giving my name away so easily.
It has to do with the way she asked. She asked if you could give it to her.
Why wouldn't you? It's impolite
Well-
to not give your name.
In the future, say, I will not give you my name, but I will share it with you.
Fine.
Just for future reference.
A lovely plan, but some Fae are more sneaky than that.
I'll leave that to you two.
Tell me, what brings you to the forest? You say you met with a show?
Yeah. Chen Show. You know, from Village of Maeyta.
Yes, the ones that are accepted within the forest. They don't decrepify any of our waters, so they're allowed to use our forest as they wish.
Well, we mostly from Maeyta, apart from Demir back there, but him and the old man go way back.
They're also suffering from the disease that's on the animals, so we're out here figuring out what's going on and if we can fix it.
You're able to talk with them if they are the same as that boar?
Well, we saw one of their game got infected and they There are similarities.
We ain't talked to none of them, but as Twiglet here says, we come across a few of them now. Keep having these weird numbers on them, like D13, B19. You said something about a lab. They making these things?
It's either a lab or some sort of evil deific shrine. Though I've seen no powers of such for that, so lab it is. I've been looking for any signs of it, but what I've been finding are my friends infected like this. Their minds have become murderous and rampageous, not even willing to discuss with the current affairs.
Do you mind sharing some of your information with us? Because we're looking for the same thing. We're trying to put an end to this whole plague.
Well, if what you speak about is true and we are on the same side, I suppose I can. I take it you already know this has been going on for quite some time, to the number of 2 months or more now.
Yeah, we've been affected, but nothing like this. Just tumor bugs and, stuff like that. Those
Well-
deer had some... Sorry, go on.
While I do not like the idea that you are eating them, it is understandable that you would become quite ill from doing so if they are infected. Do you not have the faculties to be able to see diseased meat from normal?
Not really, no, but I'm also know that if I'm dying out here, then someone's probably gonna eat me. Circle of life and all that. Look, that's by the by. No, we don't know about that. Thinking about it, and he'll crumble look at the other three. You reckon this place is in that mine everyone's talking about? Well, I say everyone, but we seem to be pointed towards it all the time.
It could be. That's where we're probably going to head next.
The slit silver mines you speak of?
Aye.
Yeah.
I've not gone there myself, as it is a area afoul of necrotic energies.
Necrotic energies. Are we gonna be alright in there?
Well, if you fall to a bore such as that, I'd advise you to take it slow. But outside of that, if you're not dead, the necrotic energy should not affect you. But it does not play well with my magic. I'd rather not go anywhere near to it if I can search elsewhere for clues about what's happening to these animals.
That character, do we even know anywhere else at this point? I'm pretty sure this is our last lead, right? Apart from the mine.
Apart from the second track of wagons, marks, all you know
they were
right
going-
now it's the mine.
But they were going towards the mine, weren't they?
Yes and no.
Well, they were going east, sorry.
The mines are to the east. In the Rush Forest, when you fought the deer, there's some wagon marks going to the north from the Rush Forest. And when you were going past Tulipe, they were both going to the north and to the east. So it's possible there is another thing above to the north of Rush Forest. You just don't know where.
Well, we do know about some kind of tracks heading north. We dealt with I'd like to say adventuring band, but they weren't exactly adventurers no more, they were undead. Which I didn't even think were real, but... Long story short, they gone, but there might be some more evidence up to the north. Somewhere.
If you want to head that way, we'll take care of the mines and see what we can do there. We can meet up here afterwards. Say 2 days from now.
2 days is a bit adventurous.
3?
It is quite a trek to the Slipsilver Mines.
Probably about a week, if that.
I'm not very good with distances.
It'll
Hell.
take you about 2 days to get to it.
That's what I'm saying, a week might be best. And I mean, no offense, Miss Lady, but I take it you can move pretty fast through this forest.
Especially since I can fly over any sorts of obstacles in my way, yes.
So hell, we got some kind of way of getting in touch with you? Probably be easy to do it that way. We just, I don't know, pray to a tree with a name or something? I mean, I don't know how it works.
I've been spending my time at this lake, hoping to quell the poison that is going between the fish. If you are going to be searching for the lab in my stead, I shall stay here.
Well, in that case, if you got problems here, we may as well go north, right? And I'll look at everyone else, see if they're up for it.
We don't know how far north we have to go.
Well, the tracks weren't that old, were they? When
No,
we first
they were.
followed them?
They were pretty recent, if I know my tracks.
Like a day old or something?
They were pretty, yeah, at the
More
time.
fresh than the camp was.
Oh yeah, pretty, maybe 2 days now, but regardless, not exactly old.
But we
Besides,
didn't know where they go. They just go north somewhere.
yeah, but it can't be
Going-
that far.
Going north or coming from north?
We could follow them for a while, but I say that if we go too far north and it's due east to go to the mines, I think we should break off and go east.
That I understand, Demir, and it makes sense, but I gotta say, we ain't exactly equipped to go deal with some kind of either lab or, did you say evil deific monument? I mean, we simple hunters, farmers, and cleric, well, priests. We ain't exactly, you know, platinum ranked, well, whatever adventurer, like, high tier is in this world. You know what I mean? Like, we're not exactly the
Yeah.
A-team.
That's why I suggest taking it slow. Though, as I say, it is very unlikely there would be any sort of evil deific power at play. I would have noticed it if such. The only evil presence is the necrotic energy at the mines.
Well,
Well,
we did suspect something vampiric to be behind this because we saw, like, bite marks on one of the deceased animals.
Very true. When we got a chance to actually look at them. I remember you say it. But they ain't no vampires right here, surely.
Well, that's why we were, first suspected the mines, because the paladin fellow at the Maeyta said that there was some vampiric stuff in the mines or something, right?
That's where they'll probably hang out, yeah, but now you mention it, undead as well. Damn, it might even be, do vampires have doctors? Is that a thing? You making some kind of strange thing that spreads the curse? Makes you all feral? Wanting blood? I mean, that deer bit another, well, some animal, right? When we looked at it?
Maybe that's where the experimenting or the lab thing comes from, because they were all the animals we've seen have been marked
They've been
or
marked.
labeled or whatever you want to call it, the numbers and letters.
And ain't just that either, they're violent, aren't they? I mean, like, more than normal. Balls are pretty hard to kill, but
Yeah,
It just
violent
didn't-
and tough.
yeah, it didn't want to die. Like, it had to fight. Right?
I mean, boars can be ferocious, but this definitely seem more than normal. No survival instinct to speak of.
No, that's what I mean. Well, we best get going then. Maybe make some camp elsewhere. Miss, You got something we can call you by? I ain't gonna ask for your name if that's the game we're playing, but
She already told us it was Mary. Were you not listening?
it ain't Mary. It ain't Mary, right?
You can refer to me as Mary.
All right, Mary it is.
Well, I shall apologize for assuming you to be something you're not. If you wish, you may make a camp here. It's probably safer in my presence.
I can't really argue with that, but I still hope you don't do, I don't know, draw on my face or something when I'm asleep.
I'm not that type of fae, no.
We can still keep the watches going if that makes you more comfortable, Crom.
What was that, sorry?
We can still keep the watches going.
Not the best. But yeah, I'm happy to camp here, and he'll start pulling the tent out.
Does anyone have anything else to ask of Mary?
Can you
Not as of
identify
time.
these rings?
Is Krob asking that?
Sorry, Juster, what did you say?
I was going to say no at this time. Clark
No,
isn't biggest fan of Mary after stealing her name.
that's
You
fair.
didn't steal, you gave it up willingly.
I mean, it's up to the spellcasters if they wanted to have a look at the rings. They can. If not, we can try and identify. Because you can do them one a day, right? You can check spellcraft once per day, like an item you can't identify.
Why are you going to ask me these questions?
I'm pretty sure that's what we're doing in the other one.
Once per day.
Yeah. So it's up to the spellcasters, really. Demir, if you have faith that you can get it.
I'll be able to get it eventually, I think.
Sure, cool. You're the magic man. Well, you and Mentha's the magic plant.
Let's try again tomorrow and see what we get.
Alright, in that case, I'm gonna get some shudder.
Guess I'll take first watch.
We had a watch cycle.
We do. I've got the watch cycle in the notes.
Yeah, there you go then.
It is Mentha, Crom, Demir, then you.
Sweet. Clark could get some good old shut-eye then.
Alright, if you go to sleep here, nothing will happen during it.
Okay. Well then. Do we need to take off rations and stuff for the night?
Yes.
One each?
Was that a question or a statement?
I'm just asking if anyone doesn't have any rations. Because I have a fair few.
I got rations. I've deducted it and one
We'll
animal
create
feed.
water for everybody.
Cool. Well, I think it Mary just doesn't sleep.
I mean, are you watching her?
No, I'm just saying, like, I assumed she was kind of just when we woke up. Because we were all in watches, right? I take it she was just still doing stuff with the lake.
Well, she's not there all the time, so either she's asleep or she's doing something.
Fair enough. Well, let's head on out then. Hopefully next time I'll actually stay at Brab for a fight.
I take it that's for identifying the rings.
Is there?
Alright. And with that, You kind of feel like the diary entry either overhyped them or their eyesight was definitely terrible, though saying that, your eyesight was terrible the other day, as these are quite weak items. They are 2 rings of magical armor, cast level 1, so you'd have to roll 16, which is the minimum. And once per day is a move action. You speak the command word of the ring to gain mage armor for 1 hour. However, you must wear the rings for the entire duration.
That'd be pretty good for anyone who doesn't have armor already.
Your casters would be good with that. Save you some MP.
Indeed it would.
Although, Maeyta, do you have armor?
No.
Alright then. You two take those rings and we'll have to take us on our way. We got folk to find. Oh. And a bereavement to tell. So, Chulipe, find the tracks in the Rush Forest, go from there, yeah?
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
Alright. Heading off in that direction, you make your way eastwards and go back to that part you had crabbed earlier. You're easily able to find the same patch where Tulipe was dug into.
Maeyta, I gotta ask, when you folk die, how do you take it? You just kind of let them back into the soil? Like the whole circle of life kind of thing? Or you got some kind of rituals you do?
Well, I imagine it depends where you're from, really. Of course, if it's people we're close to, it's really sad, like with anyone dying, you know?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm just hoping I didn't do the wrong thing burying him.
No, that's pretty universal, I think.
Alright.
Kind of return them back to the earth and all that.
Retroactively, can I say I put like a marker on it? So when we tell Tulipe where it is, he can at least go and... Or it, sorry, can go and at least find where they were, if it wants to.
Yeah.
Alright. Good to know. I mean, I'll do it if no one else wants to. Break the news, I mean.
You've got a big heart, Crom. Go ahead.
Big heart, no brains, but I'll try.
He technically has the biggest heart because he's the tallest person here.
True. I don't have the most con, though.
Mr. Gibbs has probably got a bigger heart.
I'll tear it out and I'll compare. Do we know where to leave? I know we know the spot is, but can we recognise where they are? Because I take it they're in the ground, right?
Yeah, you could find their large leaves.
I'll sort of just crumble, go over and knock on the soil that's close, but without touching the leaves.
Okay.
They don't have doors. This is the best I can think of.
Later invents some doorbells for the ground. So, Crom knocks on the ground near Tulipe as they sprout their head up. They look at you with large eyes and then start to dig out a bit more, though stay mostly underneath the ground. Yes, sir? I don't taste good.
I ain't here to eat you. Look, You spoke to my friend Clark not long ago about your brothers being taken away in a cult.
Yeah. Did you find them?
I did. We did. And I gotta be honest with you, we were a bit too late. They didn't make it.
Oh. Well, they have been gone a while. I just kind of hoped they got away and planted elsewhere.
Me too, friend. But unfortunately, they didn't make it. However, I have replanted them. I buried them. And put a little marker on it in case you do want to go and see your folk. I didn't know what else to do.
Is it safe to go up there?
We cleared out the whole camp. There were some creatures up there that used to be folk that may have taken your plant friends with them. But they were gone now. Last we checked, there was nothing there. As far as I know, it should be safe. And hell, you want us to take you up there? I'm sure we could do that bypass if you need to.
I'm not ready to be dug up yet.
I'm sorry about that. Should I have taken them down to you?
No. You did enough finding them. I'll make my way over there when I'm able.
Alright. And I'll sort of get up a bit.
Thank
You
you
go-
for looking.
What was that, sorry?
Thank you for looking.
It's alright. You want me to help you bury up? You might need some time on your own for this. You best grow up strong, though.
I'll try.
You will.
And then they dig back into the ground.
Alright. Magical have absolutely no need for money, do they? Like, I assume that
If they were in a civilization, possibly, but they're just in the forest. What do they need money for? They're not going to
Yeah.
be trading with deer.
No. I don't think they care about. I was going to give him a winter blanket to like stave off the cold, but fuck it, yeah, I'll do that. I'll pop a winter blanket down near them and just say, look, it ain't much, but it'll keep you warm. And then I'll head back to the pie.
Can I use create water to make a little drizzle over there? Give him a little bit of water.
Sure. So the next game's going to be a farming game, yeah?
Farmer class. Everyone has sights.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Or sickles.
There's actually quite a lot of farming weapons thinking about it, but anyway.
So hoe, pitchfork.
Let's go and follow those tracks. They were north, weren't they, from where we fought the second mutated deer? Like this way.
The northwestern part of the Rush Forest.
Let's go.
As you make your way back into the Rush Forest, you go to the portion of it where you had fought with the mutated deer, and thankfully there have been no new deer to replace it. and you can pick up the tracks yet again. However, it is going into the evening time, so it's up to you if you wish to follow the tracks at night or rest here.
It's much easier to find tracks during the day.
That's true enough, but we don't know how far these folk are going. That's my concern.
Well, we did make a detour. If anything, they could already be at the mines.
That's what I mean. I'm tempted to simply go into the Knack, but I don't want to force y'all to do so.
As long as I can stay on this cart, I'll be alright.
We could always slow down if you want. Just a tad.
I'm happy to push on, but I just won't be able to see very much. Haven't got eyes like yours. Or a nose.
I'll give Clark my hooded lantern, so you can, you can use it how you want.
I can suddenly see a lot better.
I can make a light if you need me to.
Well, that's certainly an answer. Could you? I mean, you can't. You could you create light on the cart because it's an object? I take it there's a limit.
What Meta's gonna do is just gonna blink, and then the plants on their head light up.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah. So I'll give.
I can light myself up.
Yeah. So I'll give Clark a lantern just to because you only need to use one hand for your weapon, don't you? At the moment.
now.
Yeah. So for now, it makes sense because then we've got two sources of light, and we will need light, especially if there's any kind of coloration in there. Because dark vision's black and white, isn't it? So you can't tell. Yeah, you can't tell colors. If we go into a room where it's the red zombies explode, we're fucked. So let's go with that. I'll take that out of my sheet.
So you're moving into the nighttime?
Yeah.
I need everyone to give me a D100 roll, please.
No, 90 again.
You get another meeting from your god.
Clark, roll me a D20.
Ah!
Alright, as you move through the forest, looking through the speckles of light from the sky, it is a cloudy night. However, Clark, you are able to see a continued patronage to your deity as you look upon a constellation. It looks to be that of a shining sword, though really it's just the stars that are shining. And you have a natural 20 for any d20 that you roll. You only have the one, and you have to make the choice before you roll.
Okay, I'll take it.
That's pretty cool.
I'm going to save it for the final boss.
You already get it for
And
one
then never use it.
And then never use it, yeah.
As you head northwards, following the wagon tracks, it seems you have found it already. The wagon tracks lead you into a, not exactly full-on forest, but a heavily treed area. It is rather dark as the cloudy night sky blocks a lot of the stars and the moon, though you can make out quite a few shapes, as well as your party members. And you say Menfa is glowing?
Yeah.
Is it 2020?
Yes, so it counts as torchlight.
Alright. Within this part of the forest, you can see that there is a small hut made up of wood, brick, and brown slate. However, it has been overtaken by the forest, as shown by the leaves and moss growing over it. The front door has also been bashed inside, as well as part of the roofing having fallen into it.
I'm gonna go ahead and activate that ring.
Yeah, same.
Alright. Okay.
Look, we ain't exactly the quietest of people, so... Not yet, anyway. We best watch the sides, but we probably just better go to the front door. In fact, weirdly enough, do y'all see an actual cart anywhere?
Nay, I don't see a cart anywhere.
Begs the question, where is it? Can we do a perception, see if there's a cart, like, like camouflage nearby?
Sure. From where you are, you cannot see any signs of the carts, aside from the wagon tracks going around to the back side of the hut.
Okay.
On the near side or the far side?
The northern.
Yeah. I say we split into two groups then. One up front, one behind. Go round left and right.
See, it's just about the same. I agree. I'll
That means if they're going round, one of us catches them. Well, are there any lights on in that house, sorry?
Nope.
Alright, just be careful.
I'll take the right flank.
I'll go left then.
Who's
Samantha,
coming
you
along?
look after Clark if you can.
Yeah, I'll go with Miss Clark. Because I don't think she can see without me.
Don't worry, Mentha. I can protect you.
Demea, you with me?
Alright then.
This works pretty well actually, because the two people with dark vision are together, so we don't need a light.
As you move around the building, Crom and Mir, you can hear a demonic croaking coming from the short well to your left.
That's a well?
It's a very short well, yeah.
I thought it was a tree. Alright. Demonic croaking.
Do you want to see, or do you want me to take a look?
So we back up. Just a tad.
I'll pick up a pebble off the ground and I'll show it to Crom and questioningly nod towards the well.
Have Clark and Mentha already moved around the other side yet?
I mean, they're where they are when you get to where you are.
I'm gonna nod at Demir and then turn around and look at those two. I don't know if I want to go loud or not to catch their attention, because I take it they're looking like they wouldn't be looking at us; they'd be looking forward, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Throw a pebble at us.
No, Crumb will just howl, like flat out howl to get your attention.
I'll go for it. Let's hear it.
Come on, I'm waiting for the howl.
No, I'm not doing that.
Clark will look over to Crom and be like, I thought we were being quiet. Shh.
He's gonna point at the well. Does anything come out of it? Like, does the noise change?
The noise changes, so that is now demonic croaking as well as a pitter-patter of water being stepped in.
We got
Yes,
company.
At this point, the Demir chucks the little pebble down the well.
The pebble hits the side of the well as it hits the other side and then down to the bottom. It's certainly not a deep well by any standards, and it splishes in some water. Then you hear the demonic croaking again.
I guess we better go check out what Crom's howling at.
It looks like they found something there.
Must have been something.
Fireball down the well.
Fireball sorts everything.
We got something down there. Sounds like some kind of demon toad.
Why'd you howl? Couldn't you have just thrown a pebble or something?
Clark, you really want me to start throwing objects that could hurt you at you?
It doesn't need to be a big rock. It could be a small stone or a stick. Play
Clark,
fetch.
you've seen the size of my hands. I can't pick up small stones.
What are
But
we
it don't
dealing with
matter.
anyway? As Clark sort of moves closer to lean over the edge.
It's very dark in there.
Look,
I
we
will
don't have to
hold
go in there.
up the lantern that Crom gave me and shine it down the well.
Stay back here with me, Maeyta. We don't know what's in there.
The oil joshes around in the lantern as you hold it horizontally. And
Not
points
holding it
down.
horizontally.
Well, it's a hooded lantern. It points forwards.
No, that's a bullseye. Hooded ones are ones that you can put the shutters down and lift them up on.
Ah, okay. Either way, it still has a base underneath it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I can peek down with my light.
In fact, you got one of those stones. Put the light on that and chuck it in.
Oh, I can't. I can only light myself up.
Oh, I see.
Mentha
Crom,
will
hold
kind
Mentha
of
up.
move the light so now their hand is lit up and kind of shove that over the well.
Clark will
I thought you
continue
were
to look
like-
down it.
I thought you could just climb up and like try and wiggle with your feet, just your like mint lighting up. All right.
Or we just hold Mentha over the hole.
Yeah. With a shining hand, Clark, you can see into the well. It's probably only about 7 to 8 foot deep, and the water has been severely used to the point there's only like probably a few inches of water left, and there is a tiny frog trying to jump out.
Crom, are you telling me you're scared of a tiny little frog?
Does it still sound like that demonic croak, or is it just the well that's
It still
amplifying
sounds
the noise?
demonic, but it most likely is the well amplifying the noise.
Poor little thing.
Yes.
Is there a bucket anywhere that we could, shimmy down with a
Clark.
rope?
I actually
Clark.
do have a bucket.
As Clark says that Mentha will kind of jump up themselves to also look now over the side of the well.
Clark will just place her hand sort of slightly in front of Mentha, so just in case he accidentally falls in.
I think.
They.
Is it they?
Any pronounce fine. Yeah, it seems like just the echo of the well is making the sound weird.
Yes.
Seems like the big wolfie's scared of a little frog.
We in the forest at night. You want me
No,
to
I wanna
pretend that
edge.
everything's fine?
It's okay. I won't tell people back at the village. Tee.
Right. Crom's gonna jump in the well.
Don't
Is
squish
Crom-
the frog!
Is Crom jumping in the well?
Crom is jumping in the well. He's been baited. He's
Alright.
he's
Don't
Roll me
squish the frog!
acrobatics.
ah, f- I'm not trained at it. Oh no, I am trained at it. No, I haven't got ranks in it. Sorry, it's a class
I
skill.
don't think. I don't.
Can
think
I,
it requires training.
Can I attempt a grapple check as he jumps over and then fall in with him?
That's gonna be even worse. I mean,
You
if
could
you
just
really
fu-
want to.
Don't fuck this up
What
for
I-
me. I rolled a 19.
What I have to roll?
Well, you can
Is it-
easily see him doing it, so I guess just roll grapple.
So my CMB against the CMD.
Yeah.
No, this is
Come
not
on,
gonna
then.
work.
Come on then.
Yeah!
You try and grab onto Crom, but your hand kind of gets into his belt but then the belt kind of like cracks your fingers and you like dislocate one of your fingers.
Ow!
What the? And then he's in the hole. Like.
Crom lands with a relatively heavy thud, and thankfully you just dodged slamming your foot onto the frog.
Crom's head height is like right at the top of the well, isn't it?
Yeah, you can probably see his ears.
Clark's
Come
just
on
going to
now.
be sitting down on the floor with her back to the well, holding her hand and just screeching pain. Ow!
Come on now. And he'll sort of go into the well and try and pick up the frog.
As you place your hand down, I need you to make me a handle animal check.
That will be as it is.
I'll go ahead and try to heal Clark.
Yeah, you can make a heal skill check, but it'd be like a DC 5.
It's just going to be a
Just
satisfying,
pop it back
like,
in.
crack. Ha!
It's not that
Oh,
painful.
oh, that's better.
You'll be sore for an hour or two.
Ooh. Clark will stand back up and look over the edge. Did you squish the frog?
We're about to find out.
The frog jumps into Crom's hand and just kind of like looks around, looking to see if he can jump up any higher, and then jumps up onto your arm, kind of like fumbles around, jumps up to your shoulder, and then jumps out the well.
Well, that sorts that out.
Is it
Then
just
starts
like...
hopping away.
Okay, it's just hopping away. Okay. You're welcome. Bye.
I'll just climb out. Do you need a skill for that?
Yeah, roll climb.
Fuck.
I'll give him my hand.
Thankfully, since they are just like ledges, since you're the same height as this, you can just pull yourself up. You're fine.
I was gonna say, I'm hoping it's 5.
Yeah, it was.
Well, that deals with that. Hopefully we ain't scared nobody off. Let's go and check around their back.
I mean, you did howl like a werewolf.
Would you like us to come with you, you big scaredy cat?
I like Butterfingers.
Clark just sort of stamps her foot.
And Dimir, I'm not a werewolf,
I'm going this way.
I didn't call you a werewolf. I said you howl like one.
Look, I may be a large wolf with big teeth and bipedal, but I'm not a werewolf, I'm a drunk. Anyway. No wagon here.
As you move around to the northern parts, Clark, Demir, and Crom, you'll all notice that there is something hidden underneath all the leaves. Mr. Gibbs, I don't know why I still have him in this role. I assumed he was going to be in the pie. Mr. Gibbs can't see it, and Menfa can't see it.
Something in those leaves. Let's check it out.
Clark pulls out her sword and starts chopping away at the leaves.
Taking away the leaves, you start to pull up some pieces of wood with it, as you see several planks across the floor, and the destroyed remains of a cellar door, almost as if something had exploded from inside.
Well, this doesn't look very good.
Crom will draw his axe. Look,
Agreed.
Is there any
I'll go
way to
first.
go down, or is it like caved in?
Yeah, it's stairs going down into what seems to be a cellar.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you lead the way. I'll hold the rear.
thank you. Yeah, that's what I suggest. You go last, just in case something comes in after us and this is a trap. Or just line up in order, I guess.
As you descend the stairs end almost abruptly and kind of in a awkward stance as there is another door. This one, however, hasn't been damaged, which is very strange. And as you look over it, it is not a door, it is a falling portcullis sort of affair. You don't see any handles or keyholes, as it is just a slab of wood coming up from the ceiling.
There's no levers or anything on this side to pull it up or anything.
No.
Strength to lift it?
You can certainly try.
Nope.
You fumble around with the edges trying to get some grip, but your hands just kind of like slip.
Damn.
Are you struggling in there?
Give me a minute. That frog was pretty slippery. It's a
Maybe you
portcullis
should-
of some kind.
Go back and check the house if there's another entrance there.
Maybe worth it, but I mean, ain't your curiosity pretty piqued?
Yeah, but it doesn't look like we can get in from this side.
Let me give it one more try.
This time, you're able to thumb your way into the edges. As you start to pull upwards, the portcullis comes with it. It is very heavy, though you strain yourself and are able to pull it up, put your knees underneath it, and then kind of like lean down, push upwards as you are currently stretching with your hands on the ceiling, holding the portcullis up.
Come on, this ain't gonna hold forever.
Clark will like look around and see if there's like a plank of wood that she could use to wedge the door up.
With how heavy it looks, a lot of the planks nearby have been shattered, so there's not really anything you could use.
Okay. Then we'll head inside.
Once everyone's passed, I'll sort of let it down as gently as I can.
Entering into the cellar, thanks to Mantha shining brightly, you're definitely inside of a cellar. The floor is mostly smoothed out mud, though in sections there are pieces of stone laid into it as if they were starting some renovations but never got to finishing it. It looks to be sort of a alchemical lab, has several shards of glass lying at the nearby tables, and a lot of the instruments have been destroyed. It'd be hard to know what this was used for in the past, but it was definitely used for some sort of alchemy. And you can all roll perception. As you're looking around, Mentha, you find that there is a syringe that has not been used, as it still has the cap over the needle, and inside of it is a red liquid and a very tiny, almost unnoticeable, black worm kind of creature. And Demir, you can find the handle for the portcullis door.
Oh, I found the door handle.
First you call me a werewolf, now you call me the portcullis door. Oh, you actually found the portcullis door. Alright.
Guys, I found this thing. Very carefully pick it up.
It's probably the size of your hand, so...
Yeah.
Now, what in the old gods and the new is that?
Does this worm have any resemblance to the worms that we've seen in the meat and such before?
No, it is a lot smaller. It's more like a sliver, and it's completely jet black. It is wiggling around inside the syringe.
Break detect
that's
magic
crazy.
for both the worm and the liquid.
Yeah, you can do detect magic. And as Jack B goes BRB, I guess this would be a good enough time for us to have our break. We can find out what it is when we come back. Okay, so as you're looking at the syringe, what do you say you're going to do with it?
Just detect magic for now.
All right. Looking over the syringe, let's see to check. This would be. It is not magical.
Okay. Any knowledge as to identify this worm?
For the worm, it would be knowledge nature. As you look upon the worm and try to identify what it is, you're unsure of what particular species it is, but it seems to be some sort of parasite. As for the liquids, you can roll both a knowledge local and a heal check.
Just looking at the worm, does it have sort of any same features of the worms that came out of the deer's body at the back at the...
No.
Knowledge local is not trained. Do you still want me to roll it?
If it's not trained, don't use it.
Okay.
For the knowledges. Alright, Demir, you can recognize that the liquid inside the syringe, as well as the syringe itself, is very similar to the mutagens used by Raging Hulk chemists. This one in particular seems to be a 1 of 4 constitution.
That might be kind of useful if I can get the worm out of there. It's a parasite, but the potion itself be helping us be healthy for a little while at least.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
the reason the creatures are so durable, more than usual.
Maybe.
That could definitely be.
I wouldn't necessarily trust it on actual use, though. With the worm and everything.
Yeah, like I said, we really would need to get that parasite out of there.
Yeah. I think we keep this for emergencies only. Agreed?
Yeah. I'm gonna put that in the party loot.
When the rest of the lab's trashed, I take it. There's just...
The rest of the lab is indeed trashed. You can roll perception to see if you... Well, no, it'd be survival to see if you can figure out what happened in here.
Survival?
Yeah. Looking at the state of the lab, Menfa, you can tell that obviously it wasn't on purpose that this place was destroyed. However, you don't see much in the way of animalistic or magical beast signs. Instead, it looks to be a humanoid that destroyed this area, and that it was quite strong to have destroyed the previous doors.
Is the portcullis the only entrance to this place, or is there another exit?
The only thing you can really see is just like cracks in the wood, but they don't seem to lead anywhere. So yes, the only way out is that portcullis that would have blocked the exit. You can investigate the portcullis itself with perception.
I'll help with that.
Take
Oh,
it
Joy.
under. It's too high.
Crom is the master of traps. Alright, Crom, you can easily tell that the portcullis is set up to trap anything inside so they can't get out. However, it seems to have activated after something had gotten out due to the destruction going on. It's also possible it had caught the portcullis before it fully came down, like you had.
Crom will explain this to the others and just say, Well, if that's the case, and this thing's supposed to be strong, and you say that they're chemical, something to do with raging hogs. I mean, I know we don't really know what archetypes are, but we know that there are chemists that can boost their abilities, right? Their physical abilities.
You would know, like, Raging Hulk would be what you would call them.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's one of them mutagenic chemists, and maybe they injected themselves with this kind of parasite, they might still be out there, somewhere.
Any way to see how old this mess seems to be? Like when this may have happened?
Yes, survival. Looking over the sites, you can see that there are plenty of dust patches everywhere. Since you guys have been moving around, you've been moving dust around. But Karom can tell that this place was destroyed at least a week ago.
A week ago? That give it plenty of time to head over to the mines and start doing even more research. But it's too late to be the cause of this problem. Unless... No, Crom's not smart enough to know that. We ain't gonna get much from here, but it's disturbing that there's something like this out there. And we still ain't found that carriage.
There's still the house upstairs we haven't checked out.
Let's have a look. Just keep on your guard.
Is Demir going to pull on the lever for the portcullis?
We'll try it. We'll see what happens.
Pulling the lever will have the portcullis shudder a bit as it starts to be pulled up. Every so often it stops as if the chains are like rolling around, and it goes up to the top. As the light is let in, as well as just Menfa's light, you can also hear several other clicks as parts of the walls around you slide open to reveal hidden compartments.
Ooh. What's that in there?
It's a good thing you pulled that lever.
I'm gonna check out those hidden compartments. Not touching anything. I'm just gonna look.
Two of the hidden compartments have had their contents destroyed before they were covered up, leading you to the theory that this place was destroyed before the portcullis and security system was able to get activated. However, one of the hidden holes is seemingly untouched. Inside is a set of 4 vials, each of them containing a different coloured liquid, and they all have tags on them. The tags read as following. There is B13, B17, D13, and H17B.
Oh no.
I check the notes very quickly.
Well, that ball that we found earlier was B17B.
Yeah, and D17. Okay, so D13 was the original deer.
Yep.
So, just going off observation, you've got boar 17, deer 13.
And also the big deer was D17. So I don't know if that probably doesn't help, but these look like to be different strains.
It still starts with a D though, so looks like the first letter includes what animal it is.
Do these have worms inside
H17B
them?
is going to be headless 17 boar.
Maybe. Do these have worms inside them still?
None of these have any sign of worms. They're all just liquids and vials.
We'll best keep these safe then. Might be able to find someone with more learning who knows what these are.
I am definitely still going to do detect magic on them and see what I can find out from that.
The 17s are magical.
Ooh.
It'll be a spellcraft to try and identify what they are. They are magical.
Well, they're magical. Wow, that was very Russian all of a sudden. They are magical. Ah, damn it.
I didn't know we were going to Zanzibar.
I didn't know. Oh, I don't know what happened.
Neither did I.
Anyway, those are magical. But I can't figure out what they are.
We'll best keep them somewhere safe then, and look at them maybe somewhere a bit more, well, safe, when we have some more knowledge of the situation. But as Maeyta says, upstairs may be our next port of call.
Let's head up on up there then.
Like with the camp, the trail from the carriage we were following seemed to be more fresh than whatever happened here, right?
Absolutely. Still be someone here.
Or at least coming through here.
Indeed. And then there was the carriage tracks did stop here, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. We found
I guess you could either roll survival or knowledge engineering.
give you 2 guesses.
Alright, you can tell that the wood surrounding the cellar exit seems to be belonging to not just the door, but also the wagon.
Oh, I thought
Sorry, it was as if the wagon was on top of the door to stop whatever was inside getting out.
Oh, I thought that was only a day or 2 ago. The tracks from the wagon, they were like 2 days old.
Yes?
But wasn't the door blown out a week ago? Like, wasn't the downstairs trashed a week ago?
Yeah, the inside was trashed a week ago, yeah.
Sorry, I'm lost. So it was down there.
Whatever was in there turned or whatever a week ago and was strapped here until a couple days ago when it broke out. Or something like that.
I'm assuming it just didn't leave. Okay, either way. Okay, so the garage is gone, so we don't have to worry about that. Let's just check the upstairs, see if there's anything in there, and then we'll have to move on. Is there a door?
The door is here. And there is no door, it's been smashed inside. As if someone went into it.
Let's find out.
As you make your way to the front of the hut, you can see the destruction continues into the interior. As inside, you would have seen a lovely little bed, a table with some chairs, and a very small kitchen and a fireplace. However, pretty much all of what I just described has been destroyed to shreds, with cloth and wood lining the floor, as well as some brick and ashes from the fireplace.
Looks like whatever was in the basement came up here to her and destroyed all of this. I take it's about the same time frame.
You would have to roll survival. Menfa can tell that the destruction in this room happened about 2 to 3 days ago.
Same about the time that the wagon would have been here and got blown up. Okay. Well, looks like we got something dangerous running around out there. Something very angry and very big.
Or someone.
That's very true. We ain't seen nothing unanimaled like this, but maybe they were moving on to something else.
Well, we saw the people at the camp. They weren't exactly animals, but...
Well, that's true, but I mean, they ain't been experimented on. They ate bad meat.
Well, maybe they thought they ate bad meat, but maybe someone actually gave them the bad meat.
Ain't nowhere knowing. Damn.
Didn't really have enough skin left to see if they had any markings on them.
From what Napaz said, they were just bone and ligaments, basically, weren't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no digestive system to be able to see what food they ate.
No. No evidence. Looks like the mounds are probably going to be our best bet.
Well, one of the files did have age. Don't think humanoid.
Maybe. Maybe.
If they've been born there so far.
Humanoid 17B. Certainly an option.
Though, I mean, I guess it could also be horse.
Horse? Or...
It's a lot of things that starts with H. Or hippo.
I mean, that'd be terrifying.
What
It
about
would.
a hippogriff?
Or that.
It could be anything, and especially it's as strange as the first one we've seen with another letter after the number, which would imply there's at least more than one. Correct me if I'm wrong there. You would think it'd be AB, right?
Yeah. Could be a variant. Could be just multiples of the same.
Maybe.
More refined, maybe.
Certainly strong, certainly fast, and certainly, well, destructive.
Are you searching the interior of the hut?
Yeah, well, sorry, I think we were just
Yeah.
for a minute thinking about it. We'll get inside. Then mute.
Are you gonna go inside, or are you just gonna stand outside and look in?
He can't fit through the doorway.
I have big shoulders, alright?
Looking within the inside of the hut, since it is destroyed, there's not a lot left. However, you can definitely tell it was destroyed with purpose, or at least someone came here to destroy it. Possibly in a rage, or because they needed to hide something. And as you were searching around, you can see that the fireplace was recently used within the carnage, as there is a lot of ash and burnt pieces of paper. And you're able to salvage at least some parts of the notes, and thankfully they are in common, so you can read them. And you get those notes.
So
Well,
we
then
came
we'll
in
go.
here first and read all of that. It would have solved a lot of our thinking. But we're glad we had the right idea. Humanoid raged boar.
Or just be.
Well, that answers a lot of questions, but doesn't alleviate any of my worries. They're getting worse.
But this also shows that someone's experimenting on these creatures, which could lead to why the meat getting tainted.
And we still don't know what number 13 does either.
By the way, we need to find who is the person experimenting on these creatures.
That as well. Well, it doesn't look like anything has been around here since it got destroyed. Shall we stay here for the night and then head towards the mines tomorrow? It is kind of late today.
It's kind of like, I don't know how safe I feel being in a building that's been destroyed.
We could set up our camp outside with our tents.
In all fairness, as you say though, it's got 4 walls, and they're certainly thicker than tent walls. I think we
Maybe.
could camp here.
I feel like I'll still pitch my tent out outside though.
Alright, I ain't gonna argue.
You ain't gotta tell me what's going on in your pants, lassie.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought you and Crum were bickering back and forth earlier, kind of friendly like, and I was trying to get in on it. I'm sorry.
That were a good one though. I'll give you that.
Boys. Clark,
Alright, Butterfingers, come on. I hope you put your tents up so you don't break one of them again.
Clark, as you go outside, you notice that the frog is waiting for you outside of the doorway. At its feet, well, in front of its face on the floor, is a small cylindrical rod.
Oh. Hello there. Clark will kneel down and attempt to reach her hand towards the frog. Really slowly.
Frog doesn't do anything.
I will grab this cylindrical rod.
As you take these cylindrical rods, you find that it is a container, and there is a cap on one end.
Anything inside, or is it like just covered up so you can't really see what's inside?
It's covered up. It's steel covered.
I will open up the cap.
Opening up the cap, you can look inside. As you can see, numerous yellow eggs, but they are very tiny, like less than a finger nub.
Guys, might want to check this out.
What are you on about?
Remember that little frog that Grom saved? Well, they just brought me a present. I'll show him the cylindrical rod. Have a look in there.
What in the blasted hells?
What the? Oh, wait there. Bill.
Clark will kneel down and see if she can encourage the frog to hop onto her hand.
Roll me handle animal.
Hmm. Can I use my 20 for this?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll use my natural 20 for this. So it'll be an 18.
Like you used your 20 on a 17. All right.
Yeah, I know.
So you be friendly with the frog, and it jumps into your hand. It seems to be taking a liking to you.
Can I
feel
try to
like you
figure out
need
what
a
kind of
name.
eggs these are?
If you want to identify the eggs, it is large nature.
Give you a hand.
I think I'm gonna name you Speckles. Frong.
As you as you investigate the eggs, it is closer to say that they are more like cocoons, as you are pretty sure that these would produce more of those worm/maggots you've seen thus far.
Oh no.
However, they are quite young, and you're pretty sure they require something to birth, as they've been in that rod for probably a long time.
Put the cap back on.
Also, Clark, since you got yourself a new pet, you can roll a perception on it if you're looking at it. All right.
Is a
Mark will
frog.
just turn around and be like, "Hey guys, meet Speckles."
Wrong.
We've made it.
Oh yeah, with your big foot, almost squishing him.
Sorry, how did you get him out the well again? When you were screaming and crying on the floor?
At least I told you not to squish him. Knowing you would have squished him.
Cobb just rolls his eyes.
Clark will do like a whistle for Mr. Gibbs and introduce the frog to Mr. Gibbs.
Look, I'm gonna start putting the tent up. I'm gonna start doing so.
Clark's gonna
Whatever's
start
in.
fumbling around for little sticks so she can make like a miniature teepee for the frog.
All right.
Look, to me, whatever's in there, I suppose we just seal it off for now. These things
Plus-
might not. Sorry, go on.
That's what I was thinking as well. Might burn it later.
I wouldn't do that just yet. These things may even be naturally occurring, but, you know, mutated. Might be a way to fix them. I mean, hell, they just babies, right? They ain't done nothing wrong.
Not yet.
Yeah, we'll just set camp, I suppose.
Where did you find the rod or the container again, Clark? Miss Clark?
Where did I find the what?
The container with the eggs.
Well, Speckles here brought it. It's right in front of him. Clark
Huh.
links up the frog to see if it's a he or she.
It is a he.
Yep. It was right in front of him. I came out the door and right in front of Speckles was this cylindrical rod.
Just wonder where it was stored then.
That's unusually intelligent for a frog. Is there something odd about that frog?
I think it's odd about Speckles. Not from what I can see. Clark then puts Speckles in the little teepee that she's made him.
Speckles accepts the new home.
That's weird.
What's weird about it?
Well, you'd think it would be like a little animal, right? It's probably gonna run away from big old predators like us. But nay, it's just sitting there on your shoulder with a little piece of cloth over it.
It's a newfound friendship.
You can see that Speckles is moving its head to each of you as you speak.
Oh, that's creepy. Do you understand what I'm saying, little frog?
It looks at you.
Yeah, quick detect magic on the frog.
Sure, it's not magical.
Alright.
Anyway, how's that tent coming along, Crom?
Well, my tent's doing fine. What y'all are doing, I don't even know.
I thought you were sleeping inside the house. I see. Did you get scared and want to join me outside?
Fine. And then he'll just walk inside the house.
Clark will light and kneel down to Speckles. He's a bit of a scaredy cat, don't worry.
Speckles croaks.
Prom sharpens his axe.
Clark will continue putting up her tent then, right next to Speckles. And I guess we're done for the evening.
All right. Somebody's having a message. Demir, give me a perception roll, please. All right. They're all abscess into the next. Because I can't spell. Clark, you will awaken to... Actually, no, yours is the last watch, so... You're just awake when everyone wakes up.
Good to know I'm awake. Clark will come out of her tent and look to the little teepee that she made for Speckles.
You find a big axe in it now.
And I like this anticipation. The Speckles there?
Yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah, Speckles is there.
No, okay. Clark will hold out her hand to Speckles.
Speckles will jump into it.
And then she'll
Mona.
put him on his shoulder.
He rides there.
Morning, everyone.
Morning, Demir, Mentha, Butterfingers. Let's go.
Say good morning to Speckles.
Speckles don't need saying good morning to. He's already had a good morning.
The frog looks at Crom, almost as if it was expecting something.
He'll kind of walk over. What do you need? You look like a frog with a question.
It just looks at you.
He'll break a... I need to reduce a ration anyway, but he'll break another one in half and give some to it.
It looks at the ration and then looks back at you.
Blink once for an item. Blink twice if you just want me to pay you.
Its tongue then stretches out to the right of your ear and it grabs the fly out the air.
That deals with that. And then I'll walk back away.
So what's the plan, gang? I'm assuming we're making our way to the mine.
Mine sounds like a plan to me. We got no more leads.
That's the only place left we've got to go.
Alright, let's go get Mr. Gibbs and get moving.
Alright.
Added Speckles to the party! Yes! I need to find a icon for Speckles now.
I've already put him into the party to the south of the map.
He is!
He is. He's there. The froggy.
I love it!
He was actually carrying the vials and stuff.
It's in the group loop. I'm assuming if no one's actually planning to use it or anything, we can just add it to Mr. Gibbs's satchel.
Well, group loot is just stuff that the group doesn't necessarily have to have on their character sheets. We can put it wherever we have room.
That's
fine.
what I mean.
happy
If
to-
we're not taking it into battle, then I'll put it on a horse. Then it doesn't
No,
get
that's fine.
damaged.
I'm just thinking about when we go to this cave, I might bring the red syringe with us just in case we really need it.
And before we leave the hut, can we pick up like scraps of cloth to make like a buffer for all of the glass vials so they don't break on the way?
Oh yeah, that's. I was gonna
Because,
like.
especially
take a
the syringe,
blanket.
I'm really worried about the syringe.
I would like to take a blanket and just like pad a spot in the cart for them.
Yeah, you can certainly do that.
Hmm.
As you are all setting up to travel onwards, Demir, something catches your eye as you're moving about, as you can see some writing on Speckles.
On Speckles?
On Speckles.
What? Clark, your little frog's got some writing on him.
What? What? Who? What? Speckles? Has he? And I'll put my hand
Let
down
me
to
see him
get
real
Speckles
quick.
to hop in my hand.
As you look at the frog and look him over, with Demir pointing it out, frogs don't have like floppy ears; they have like ear hole, like indent things. But near where that is, there is writing. He has F6 in its ear.
Oh.
Oh no! What?
What does 6 mean?
Well, F is obviously frog.
Well,
6
What?
maybe is
No.
intelligence.
it's not going to be a fridge, is it?
What's a fridge?
What's a fridge?
Eh. I heard one of my uncles tell me about it. It's like a big box. You can put.
An ice box, you mean?
No, it's a thing you put your shoes in. At least I think that's what he said.
Why would you put your shoes in a thing?
Do magic or even wear shoes?
I mean, I've been around humans enough to know what shoes are.
Yeah, I suppose.
You take your shoes off and you put them near the front door so you don't get any dirt in your house. Keeps the house a bit cleaner.
Humans are weird.
Anyway, so I guess Speckles is another one of these experimentations.
Apparently.
Does seem
Well-
like that, yeah.
You look like a normal frog to me, Speckles. As she'll place him back on her shoulder.
Speckles croaks.
Never know. Could be a valuable companion later on. I mean, he already is.
Are you all heading towards the Slip Silver Mines?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll head there.
Alright, everyone, roll me a d20, please.
Oh, come on, Crom.
And Menfa, roll me a d100.
Really good or really bad?
I agree,
Yep.
Jack B, who's in the background.
I'm back.
As you are walking through, let me get to this page. As you're walking and riding towards the Slip Silver Mines, you can all start to hear a moaning off in the distance. As well as that, I think two of you see that. Mr. Gibbs sees it.
Yeah.
Crom and Gibbs will be able to see that there are very small piles of bones leading on the path towards the east, and then stopping as they go towards the north, where there is a large tree. And they can also spot that there is a blood trail in that direction as well. The moaning is humanoid in nature, and it does not seem deathly, though it does seem like someone is in pain.
Yo, we gotta stop. There's someone hurt over there. You see those lines of bones? Well, are they piles of bones leading to the tree?
They are piles of bones leading up. They're very, very small piles of bones.
Look, I don't know what the hell's going on over there, but someone sounds like they need help.
Either that or something's just a bit too full after their lunch.
It don't sound like it's someone in pain. It ain't just, stand up moaning. Come on, and he'll just jump out the car and start walking that way. Actually, no, he just walks along. So yeah, he just walks off.
Demir will hop out of the cart and follow.
I will jump around behind.
As you get out of the cart and follow the noise, you go around to the side of the tree. As you can see, a aura who is sitting against it with a large gash across his leg to the point where you can see his muscles. Ah, who are you? Ah, thank God you're not monsters.
Don't worry, we're here to help. I've got spells for you if you want some healing.
Ah, yes, please do it. That thing, yes.
What happened to you?
You look after him. I'll keep an eye out in case it comes back.
More healing, less talking. As you cast the regen on him, his skin slowly starts to close up, and his painful expression fades away. Wish I had some healing potions for the road, but That'll do. Thank you very much, sir. What was the Magigorg asking me?
What happened to you?
I was trying to deliver some parcels to there's a village south of here, or southwest, Maeyta, and I got attacked by these ravenous hares. I know it sounds stupid, but their teeth were jagged to an edge, and one of them got me in the leg, and just been trying to sort it ever since, but I don't exactly have magic to heal my wounds like that.
Is that what the bone piles were about too?
Bone
On the road?
piles? Yeah, they looked like they were melting in the sun or something. Again, I know it sounds stupid, but I'm not any sort of caster, so I can't do anything like that.
No, and we get you. We are kind of sort of investigating the same situation. With animals being all messed up around here.
It's a normal occurrence in these parts. I definitely don't want to be
Well-
here much longer.
Not normal. Nothing about this is normal. But, well, it's been happening.
Are you feeling all better? I didn't catch your name.
It's Telegetsu. I'm definitely feeling a lot better, sir. Thank you. What's
You
your
alright?
name? I don't think I caught it.
The name's Damir. Are you think you're alright to continue what your quest was, or you wanna head back the way you came?
Well, it shouldn't be much further to Maeyta, right? Are you locals?
Yeah,
We are.
actually, yeah, we're coming from Maeyta. Some of us are from there. We can help you guide towards it.
If you've come this way, hopefully the path's going to be a lot more clear. I should be able to make my own way there if I just take a rest here. If you do make your way back to Maeyta and I'm still there, try and seek me out. I can get you something for your help.
Might have kind of, yeah, but give it to the dwarf here. He's the one who healed yourself.
Well, that's not really necessary, but if you feel like it and if we don't make it back, you can leave something with Chincho. He'll make sure we get it. That would be the head of the town.
Yeah, I can do that.
Hopefully we'll be back within a day or two.
Sorry, I had to step away. Did we find out what actually hurt him in the end?
Rabbits.
Mutated hares.
Mutated has, okay.
Rabbit season.
Did you... Hang on. Did you manage to get all the hairs, or did any of them get away?
I stabbed all that I saw. I don't think any got away.
Well, that's good to know, at least.
Do you need any more healing before we head on our way?
If you're offering it, I'll take it.
I've got a potion you can have. Unless you don't want it.
I can take the potion. I'll have to leave something behind for you with Chencha.
Alright then, here you go.
He takes the potion.
And sorry, just to interject, the hares, did he take him out, or did they burst up in the sun. Is that what the bone piles were?
The bone piles would have been the remains of their bodies after their skin and muscle melted away.
Okay, cool. Sorry about
Does he still look wounded at all, or is he okay?
He's in much better shape. He just looks more worn out than anything.
And for the day, are we pretty close to the end of the day, or what?
Pretty close to the end.
If you would like, we can set up our camp here, and we can all camp together for the night.
I definitely feel safer if I had 4 able bodies with me.
Is that alright with you, the rest of you guys?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
that. Absolutely. Won't ask him to sit into the watch rotor though. Probably needs a bit more rest than the rest of us.
Aye. I'll go ahead and start setting up my tent.
Alrighty.
Okay. Go rest here.
Since we're going to be resting, I'm going to cast another regen on him.
That will definitely set him right. He'll thank you again. Day will pass into the next as you continue to eat for your rations or get doused in water in the case of Mentha. And with the rest in hand, Telegeru is definitely feeling a lot more able-bodied. He throws on his satchel bag, says his farewells, and if you have nothing else to say, he will head on his way to Maeyta.
Hope to see you again soon.
Thanks again, and look out for hares on your travels.
You mean like that one right behind you?
I'm not going to fall for that.
And that was the last we saw of Telegeru.
He just falls in a hole somewhere and gets attacked by hares in the hole.
That was a good thing you did to that man back there.
That's my job. That's what I'm doing.
That's good to see.
Ready, and everyone roll me a d20.
Ew.
Okay, and Demir, roll me a d100. As you're making your way towards the Slip Silver mines, along with the mines themselves off in the distance being some sort of building or establishment for work, you also stumble across a old mill. Though you don't see any wheat farms in the distance or any real sort of farms, possibly the only ones you know of would be the Mandragora Gardens, the mill is certainly old. Its windmill, it croaks lightly in the winds, and it has seen much better days. The door swings slightly in the breeze as it creaks.
Well, we best check it out. I mean, I take it doesn't look too decrepit to not be in use.
It could be used, but it doesn't seem like it has been used in a while.
Well, what do y'all think? I'm happy to move on, but seems like a shame to waste the opportunity.
If it's abandoned, there might be some useful items there for us to borrow or use. Maybe some extra food or A for the horse.
That's true. Since Clark got his new pet, he seems to be neglecting his old one. Poor Gibbs.
Gibbs is never neglected. He's always getting his animal feed.
You still brushing him?
Of course. How could I forget about my trusty steed?
Cromwell just look at Gibbs. Mm-hmm. Alright, enough of the joshing around. Let's have a look inside.
As you enter into the mill, everyone give me a perception roll.
Dang.
Clark's like, wait, did I neglect my horse?
Yeah. Clark is just too transfixed by Gibbs and Speckles, her two favourite pets.
Okay. Everyone besides from Clark needs to roll me a will save.
Result.
Are we playing Call of Cthulhu? What happened? Did we change?
Yeah, you saw something and you going insane.
Having a pet saved Clark.
Crom, your hair stands on end as you feel a deep-seated fear mulling up in your guts, as the three of you can see two wispy visages who lack any sort of legs as they go off into a trailing tail. Their grey sort of mist looks towards you with black abysses for where their eyes and mouths would be. Crom, you are currently frightened. So you can tick on fear for that. Demir and Menfa, need you two to roll me linguistics.
Isn't frightened where I have to run?
Yeah. You can
Okay.
stay in the doorway, but you don't want to go any further in.
Oh, hell no, yeah. I'll basically just freeze up. Like, completely freeze up.
I roll if it's untrained.
Yeah, you can roll untrained. Whereas Clark can't even see these two. He's just like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, you both are able to piece together what they say, as their voices are wispy and trail on the winds that brush past the door. The mill's final run must be complete.
That sounds like a quest from an undead. Or from a spirit. Might be able to set their spirits free if we do so.
I'm not gonna go anywhere near that route. I don't want nothing to do with this.
I'm gonna look at Menta and I'm gonna like, do you want to go to the mill and see if we can finish their final run?
Well, I mean, I guess. If they need our help, we might as well help them, right?
It'd be nice to set them on their way if they're stuck here.
Do you know what it means, the mill's final run?
Well, a mill makes flour from grain. I wonder if we could just run some grain through there and get some flour and it'll be done. Right?
I guess so.
If you wish to try and help the ghosts, you can roll profession or knowledge local or engineering. Profession
I-
doesn't need to be trained, the other two do.
I have none of those.
I have none of those.
Profession is just wisdom, right?
Pretty sure it is.
Yeah.
So if you don't have anything in any sort of professions, just roll a straight profession.
I can, but I don't know if I'm going to help. Oh no, she got it.
Well, apparently, being something who doesn't make food, Menfa just knows how the mill works. Yeah, Menfa's able to explain the process to Demir enough, as Clark still has no idea what's going on, as you two just talk about starting a bakery business. And the first step, you need to be able to move the large sacks of grain over into the mill. So somebody needs to do that, and it's going to require a strength check.
Not it. I mean, I can try to help, I guess.
I mean, but I still wouldn't be like running
No,
away.
it's inside the mill. You don't want to get anywhere near them.
That's on you at this point.
I guess I'm strong.
Demir starts to try and move the sacks, but he's more like scraping them across the floor, cutting the sacks open, and having the grain go everywhere. Whereas Menfa, apparently they just know how to make mills work, and they like put it over their heads on top of their mint as they like ferry it over.
I think you've missed your profession, you're a little spratling.
The next part is to move all the grain into the correct places, which is either going to take a intelligence or wisdom.
I'm too tired for carrying all those sacks.
Can we try the other?
No, it's one or the other. And as you try to work with the machine, or yeah, I guess it's the closest you think you could call to a machine, it takes some time and you lose out on some of the supplies, but you get it all put into the right places. The next is to have the mill turn. However, the wind is not that heavy, and there is a part of the wooden wheel. I guess you could say is those things we see slaves on when they go round and round and round, or donkeys and the like. And you would need to push that to have the mill move.
Would it be able to be hooked up to Mr. Gibbs at all?
It would be if he was here. Clark is just outside; he doesn't know what's happening.
Clark, come here. We got a job for yours.
A job for Mr. Gibbs?
Yeah,
What
we
kind
gotta
of
make
job?
some flour.
Not really sure how my horse can make flour.
All he's got to do is pull the pole and go around in a circle. He can do that, right?
I mean, he's been pulling the cart. It's very similar to that.
I don't know. What do you think, Mr. Gibbs?
Yeah.
He says what's in it for him.
I'll get him a bag of apples the next time we're in town.
Mr. Gibbs starts nodding.
Right, off you go then, boy.
Mr. Gibbs can roll a strength at +4. Or +4 to the outcome.
Nice.
Didn't need it.
He really likes those apples.
Go on, Mr.
just
Gibbs.
gets wired up, and before even Menfa can get his muscles over there, Mr. Gibbs just starts running with the thought of apples in his head, and turns the wheel as the mill starts to turn. You can hear the stones grinding against each other as the mill completes its final run.
I'll make
The
sure they
ghosts
get you the juicy
start
ones.
The ghosts start to dissipate as you can hear a frail thank you as they have moved on. And in their place, underneath, you can see that there is a square marking in the floor where a compartment would be held.
Go investigate the floor.
We were just doing a kindness. I'm glad that we could help you. But thank you for leaving behind a gift. Do we need to roll anything to check out the... Okay.
If you open up the compartment, it seems like it was the savings of whoever used to run the mill. And inside is some money and some experience.
Is that 500 for everyone?
Yeah.
Including Mr. Gibbs?
Mr. Gibbs doesn't get experience.
That's just rude. He did
He
most of
gets
the work.
apples.
Okay. He likes the red one.
Sure, Mr. Gibbs can have 500 experience. He just needs another 1,500.
Very nice.
And Crom is no longer feared.
Okay. I think I need to update my list of fears to the supernatural undead. God damn.
They're not that scary when you help them out.
Still pretty scary.
When the mill is finally done with what it's doing, is there bags of flour that we can grab and maybe trade goods later?
Sadly, all the stuff here is either infested with vermin or too old to really be used.
Oh, so we just did a run just to do the run for them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Appease the ghost, yeah.
Yeah, it's like just the act of doing it. Okay. To the mines.
Very well.
And continuing on to the mine, you definitely reach it. Get to that page. Reaching the Slip Silver Mines, you can see it is hugged by rather tall mountainsides, to the point where it blocks out most sunlight. Entering into a canyon of sorts, it definitely continues the darkness for, as the paladin described, a place for the ones who do not like the sunlight to prevail within. As you make your way in here, it has definitely seen some use in some recent times. I should take away Mr. Gibbs. No experience for him.
No!
Getting into here, the interior of the mine lets out a bit of light as well, so having some light from the sun above, though it is very dim here. There are some tracks leading into the mine, or at least leading out to it, as there are some old mine carts with large rocks in them. Sadly, they do not glint in the light, so they probably are just rocks to make some space for some more silver mining. And a nearby, not exactly watchtower, but an upper place that they probably used to clean out some of the rocks if there were any minerals hidden within them. Atop which stands 3 skeletal creatures who are draped in much finer armor and carrying better weapons than the previous ones. As they notice you, their red dot eyes glow in the light as they kind of like shudder around as spiders and dust comes off of them. Gripping tightly onto their swords, they cackle with their teeth, though you're not sure they're doing that on purpose rather than just moving their jaws about.
Oh no.
If you wish to knowledge these, it is knowledge religion, which I think only one person has.
I got nothing.
Demir and Demir knows what these are.
Oh boy.
These are skull warriors. Armored creatures that look like yellow skeletons. They're not really that much yellow. With small red pinpoints of light burning in their hollowed eye sockets as they draw their weapons. You can learn one trait. They are indeed undead. They are skeletons.
Oh, we know what they're probably weak to. We know they probably have DR versus
Slashing.
yeah, like bludgeoning works good against them, but not piercing or slashing, right?
Yeah, probably.
They probably don't have spell resistance. I don't know, resistances. They've got undead traits.
Resistances or special abilities would be good.
Yeah, let's just do special abilities. That's probably the best.
Alrighty, a special ability. There's also the ice cream van coming here right now.
I'm gonna get another quadruple whippy.
No, not today. Alrighty. One of their special abilities is Hell Slash, where as a swift action, they can imbue their scimitar, and if they strike you with it, they deal additional shadow damage. Unless you make a fortitude save, you take 1d4 strength loss. It should be strength damage, otherwise it says loss. Same thing.
Fun.
And it goes to two of them first, because they rolled rather well. And this one at the back drops its scimitar onto the floor, picks out its bow, and fires an arrow towards Demir.
Oh no. We didn't have a chance to even try to get our magic stuff on.
Sadly, the arrow goes whistling by Demir.
Whee!
This skull warrior at the front is going to shuffle up to the top of the stairs and is then going to point at Demir. And I need Demir to give me a fortitude save, please.
Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh, this is bad.
Righty. Demir, you feel a haziness within your mind as your body is drained and you lose 2 MP.
How does he know I'm a caster? He's undead. He's not very smart.
You're the closest one.
I know.
And then it'll go to Clark. It does say on the map, but this platform is 15 feet up.
So I can just walk up the stairs. I haven't got to roll a climb check.
It is half movement, but you don't need to roll for going up it now.
Oh my word. Is that a set of stairs? Or is that a ladder?
That is a ladder.
Oh boy.
I would require climb, but it's like DC 5 because it's a ladder.
Yeah, I don't have much faith in my climb, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. Maybe. I don't want to crowd the stairs, that's the problem. If I go up the stairs and Crom can't get past me.
I can always run and climb up the side. It's not a problem. There's another ladder here. So take the stairs if you want.
Say it's half speed moving up.
I'll speed up the stairs, yeah.
That's 25. 30. And if I'm double moving. I don't want to do that. Yeah, actually, I do. To get there, that's another 20 first. That's a double move.
Alright. Menfa.
Oh boy. Move action to get the mage armor going. And as they were targeting Damir, I'm gonna give Damir windshield.
Oh boy.
No, wind armor, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't have windshield. So +2 to deflection AC.
An onion can dream.
It'll be helpful maybe eventually, hopefully.
Yes.
That lasts for how long?
A minute.
So, 10 rounds.
The skeleton at the back drops its sword, brings out its bow, and is going to shoot at Damir.
My AC right now is 13.
No, I'm not going to do that. You're not that bad yet.
Okay, the arrow hits Damir for 4. That goes to Damir.
Cromwell just yell, hit the dick.
Okay, I'm going to move action, activate the ring. Standard action, cast shield, which is a shield bonus, so that'll stack. And then free action, I'm going to drop to the ground.
Alrighty.
The lot of AC versus range.
From.
Let me just see the... Okay, is this climbable here?
It is ladder, so yes. However, the scoria is blocking the top of it.
Okay. I can't
You
climb
can.
the scaffold.
Bash out its
can I?
legs.
You can attack it whilst you're climbing. You do take a -2 to attacks and AC.
Well, I couldn't because I've got a two-handed weapon, so...
You can bite its ankles.
That's true. Yeah, I'll do that then.
Otherwise, you can climb parts of the scaffolding. It's just a high DC.
I'm just thinking, do I get up there, use like a point and go up? I imagine Clark will be fine. As long as Damir's okay, we'll be okay. But surely if they're attacking me on the ladder, they get like the higher ground advantage on me? For melee?
If they attack you with their melee, yeah.
But they have the
How
bow
about-
out now, right?
Both of them have dropped their scimitars, so...
Yeah. And is it half speed up the ladder?
Climbing is quarter speed unless you have a climb speed.
Motherfucker. Yeah, there's no way I can get up there in time anyway. So I will have to double move to the ladder as close as I can do. Do you need a climb check?
If you're climbing it, yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, on the nose, you're fine.
Alrighty. That's me done. I can't move any further if it's quarter speed.
Alright. Seeing that there's now someone climbing up the ladder, this one's going to shoot straight down at Crom.
Would that provoke? Because I'm like next to him.
Oh, you're actually next to him, okay.
Yeah.
Instead, we won't do that. It is going to drop its bow and claw at you.
Okay.
However, as it claws at you, you just like go onto one hand, swing to the side, and go to the other, and to easily dodge. This one, who now has a clerk, is going to enchant its blade and slash at her. And it fumbles. It goes to attack you, and then it just spins on its hips and goes all the way around. Mark. Its weapon is still infused. It stays there until it's discharged.
Take a good whack at it.
You indeed do a sizable whack to the thing. However, as some people thought, it does have some sort of DR, and you do less damage. Medfa.
Oh boy. Gonna try to get a little bit closer. Is that enough? Probably not with the 15 foot up.
You're at 29
just
feet for the first one.
Just barely. I'm gonna try and take a mud shot.
You blast that one with your mud staff, and it is got a lot of mud within its rib cage, but it still stands. Goes to the warrior at the back, who sees people approaching. It is going to move around to like this edge. And it's going to shoot down at Crom.
I think I wouldn't be enraged from there.
No.
No.
Crom gets pelted in his shoulder, 5 damage.
Okay.
Demir.
I will stand up as a move action. And then standard action, I guess I will try to... I have to get closer. No, I can't do that. Okay.
You
I
can
get-
fight for cert.
Yeah, but I think they're all going to be too far away even for a close range spell. Because close range at first level is 25 feet, right?
Yeah.
The one fighting Clark might be in range, but it depends if you can see them.
He's exactly at range if you 5 foot to there.
Alright, I'll do that. I'll 5 foot step up and then I will use a light on that dude. Oh, damn it.
No. You just shoot up into the sky, and not much in the sky, it's only 25 feet. From?
Because they're blocking the ladder right at the minute.
Yeah.
He will just bite his shin. I'm gonna hero point that.
Oh, I forgot we have hero points. Oh, God.
I mean, I've been giving some of them out for roleplay stuff.
I know, I didn't think about it.
Oh god, cannot play this session. That's a miss.
You bite the ladder.
I do have one as well. Can I go back and retry that?
Yeah, sure.
Does that hit?
That indeed hits.
Yo!
That one explodes into holy light and has its bones scattered everywhere. This one claws at Crom again. Thank you, Roll20. He claws at you and hits you again for 7.
Fuck me, right, okay.
Clark.
So I'm still on the stairs, so it's still half movement, yeah?
Yeah.
I can still make it to there, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll attack this guy.
And you shall miss.
Unfortunate.
Menfa.
Well, my plans just got changed, that's fine. Let's try something else. I'm gonna move closer. It should be within 25 feet, but it's this guy. I'm going to try to push him away with Word Blast. Hoping to Kevin could bull rush to give Crum some room to move.
Alright.
Pretty good bull rush. Might even knock him off.
But it does not knock him off, but it does push him onto that pile of wood. Since from where you are, he goes slightly diagonally. He is there. He like falls over this large lot of flanks that have played over. But he beat it by 5, so he went over by 2 squares.
Is he drenched?
It's oh, no character was selected, apparently. It is drenched, yes.
Alright.
Just when I had a drenched icon, but apparently no. There you go, he's drenched with that. That one is going to drop its bow, and the bow falls down off the scaffolding, and it's going to claw out at Clark.
Enjoying
both
that
attacks
macro.
are missed. Yeah. It's because for some reason their tokens aren't set to their sheets, even though they were. But it's fine. I just go to the sheet. Demir.
I guess I'm just gonna take a double move up to... I don't know where I can go. I think the top of the stairs here.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be 40? No, I have to go back one. Yeah, there we go.
That would be 45 to there.
Yeah, but I only have 20-foot movement, so...
So you'd be at the top of the stairs then.
Okay, yeah. So that's it.
From.
Okay, I will. From where I am, I think everyone is within 30 feet. So I'm going to use my limit break now, which is Pack Fury. Everyone gains +2 strength and con, and an additional attack at their highest base. And then I've got to pull myself up and over. Do we need another climb check or no?
Yeah. Need the climb.
Okay. Climb, don't fail me now. Didn't fail me now.
You certainly get up there.
That's still quarter speed, but I can get to there.
Yeah.
And then... Can I draw my axe as part of a move, or do we need to buy him?
I would say you'd have the axe in your hand as you're climbing up.
But just sort of having it on like one rung. Okay. Yep, I'll give him a wham.
Sizable wham it is. Slam it into the creature, but it's still undead.
Alrighty, fair enough.
What type of bonus is that, by the way? And
It's enhancement.
This fella is going to stand. Should we broke from Crom?
Alrighty, Crom will hit him again.
And as it gets up, you just plant your axe into its skull and it falls apart.
Alrighty.
Clark.
We'll just attack the one in front of her. And then 5 foot over.
You slash out into the undead and cut through a lot of its bone and armor, but it's still animated. Menfa.
Don't you have another one with the Crom's limit break? Or is it just for Crom?
No, it's everyone. Everyone gets 2 attacks.
So yeah, Clark could get another attack.
Oh, I have another. Oh, never mind then. I'll attack again. Well,
You're welcome.
thank you.
It does not confirm.
That's just sad.
It's still flashing.
Is
And that's what matters.
Yes.
And you'll put in another solid swing, though it is still animated.
Alright. Match up.
And then Mentha lets out another ball of mud and dislodges that guy's ribcage from the rest of his body.
Very nice.
You are so close, Clark.
And what matters is it's dead.
That is true.
And nobody got away. Crom got hurt.
So did Demir.
Nobody down.
True. Well, yeah, up 2. This is what happens when you play a high strength, no AC character.
At least you didn't go down this time.
True. I do need to invest in like a blunt object though to hit skeletons with.
There's a tree branch over there. Cut it down and make a club.
I'm seriously considering just carrying a rock, honestly.
There's plenty of
What?
rocks in those minecarts.
A club is 1d10 times 3, right? Or is it times 2?
Well, taking a tree branch would make it an improvised weapon.
Yeah, but you could whittle it down into a club.
You want to spend the hours to do that?
Ready. That was rough, but well,
If I
damn.
was just a little bit more hurt, I could do a great heal on us.
You want me to punch you or something?
I don't think that would be allowed.
No, that would
Doesn't
be
work.
cruel. Also, I wouldn't just hit Demir because I thought we'd get more health.
When you punch the healer enough, they give you heals.
It's like a pinata. You hit it out and the heals come out.
I will use my last 2 MP to do regen on both of us, so it's gonna be 8 HP over time.
Very nice. Do these skeletons have anything on them?
Armor and weapons.
Yeah? What they got?
They have 3 sets of studded leather armor. They have 3 scimitars. They have 3 longbows that are composite to 3, and they have 55 arrows.
I would greatly appreciate having one of those longbows. Give me some ranged option.
Go for
What is
it.
your strength? I'm pretty sure your strength is
5.
anyway.
Yeah.
5, you're fine then. You can add 3 of your strength to the damage.
That's what I mean, it's pretty good. So everything else can go in the pilot apart from one of those bows.
Oh,
Bow arrows. You're just gonna twang the bow.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'll take...
take all of them.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
Studded leather armor. Does that have a spell check failure?
It does.
Okay.
And also it's not as high as mage armor.
That's true, but you know, when I don't have mage armor cast, it could be useful to have something. Well, we'll get an amulet or something later.
What is the
What's the
weight
party
on
do?
arrows? Is it just 1 for 1?
It's £1 for 20 arrows.
Oh, okay, cool. Put 2 in. Okay, yeah, perfect.
Did Entro
Yeah.
say something? Because I just heard some buzz.
Yeah, I think that was Gia. I was about to say she turned into a bumblebee again.
I thought she was an onion.
Oh yeah. Leveling up.
So are we resting before we go in, or are we going in, or what are we doing?
I'd probably say resting because we
Yeah,
do
we
see...
probably should.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're scripting it a bit.
Studamir and Grump both took quite a hit.
And I'm out of healing.
I don't want to see me roll a 1 on the 1d12 of HD I have.
It's been a little bit of a long day as well.
Yes. Let's say we set up camp here for the night. Let's move these... Sorry, go on.
Do you think it's safe out here, right outside the entrance of the mine? I think we should head back just a little bit.
Yeah, maybe a little bit further up. Not quite at
Oh,
the
no.
entrance.
That's what I mean. I mean, we move on away from here and set up camp.
I like that idea much better.
In fact, we could probably use some... do some time trying to make sure it's as concealed as we can.
Like, that would be appreciated.
Alright, for the leveling process, you have a choice now to either roll for your health and keep rolling for the rest of it, or to take average. You either roll for the rest of the game or take average for the rest of the game.
Can I roll now and then decide after that?
No.
It's just rude.
Once you roll, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna roll for it.
I'm gonna roll for it.
I usually do pretty good at rolling, so I'm going to roll for it as well.
Yeah, all right. Not all of us roll really well for it, though, do we?
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, see? Right, I'm
Ooh.
glad. I'm glad.
You're glad our healer has low health? Wow.
Jasper, I thought you were a team player. What do you mean?
I still can't roll!
Oh, God.
Statistically, that's lower than mine.
Statistically, after like my past, like probably 16 levels of all my other characters, I've never rolled above average.
It's almost like you should start taking average.
Yeah, some would think that, but no. My brain just doesn't allow for that.
Jasper, if we ever meet in real life, just remind me to never take you to any kind of casino.
Yeah, no chance. No, I'd refuse.
Maybe you're just saving all your luck for the casino and having the bad luck in tabletop games.
Okay. That makes me feel not much better, but still.
Alright, and with the entrance to the mine cleared out, you move a bit away to rest the rest of the day away, and you can indeed do your level ups, and we shall continue this in X amount of weeks. When was the next time? For the 30th.
Wait, it's 3 weeks? Jesus. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
We
because
would have had a
16th.
game next week, but then somebody did.
Yes, I have to attend a birthday meal.
Well,
And we'll end session there.
alright. Thanks for the game. Appreciate it.
Maybe with that extra 11